Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to a show that's not really happening. This is Monkey in the Morning. I'm your host, the Ranting Monkey, and I hope you guys are having a great day out there. As we've been talking about, I am on my Starlink, so especially with Jack not here, there may be moments of silence. I apologize for that in advance. There's nothing I can do about it. It's technical shit I can't fix. Guys, how are you? Hope you're well. Hope you're having a great day. Hope you had a nice Father's Day. I did. I had a really nice Father's Day, and then I got really tired about 7 o'clock, so I went and laid down. About 11:30, I woke up because that's what I do. And then I made a mistake. I made a big mistake. I saw that Rob Squad Reactions had reacted to "That's My Job" by Conway Twitty, and I was like, "Oh, I love that song. It's my second favorite Conway Twitty song." And so I go over there and watch it, and yeah, I shouldn't have. I shouldn't have. You should not listen to "That's My Job" on Father's Day when your dad's dead. It is a recipe for boogers and tears. That's all it is. And yeah, so sat here with a little tear down my face for a minute, and then watched some other stuff to get me out of that little funk that I was in. And yeah, look, my dad was a great man, and I miss him very much. I hope he's proud of me wherever he is. And yeah, so I mean, it's not the worst way to end a Father's Day, right? Having nice thoughts about your dad. But yeah, then I started watching some other things. I watched a nice clip compilation of Ricky Gervais being mean to people, which is wonderful because he doesn't care. He says that often. Lots of people, oh, I don't care. Ricky does not give a shit. And it's funny as fuck because you have these pretentious Hollywood pieces of shit who are like, get the funny comedian guy. And he just fucking roasts them because they suck. Because they're bad people. A lot of them are actually bad people. Do you remember the pandemic where they're in their giant mansions and you're in your hovel and they're, imagine all the people. Shut up. Shut the fuck up. Hollywood should have to listen to Ricky Gervais every day of their lives because they're pretentious, spoiled shitheads. But yeah, so that was fun. And then I made another mistake. I really was going to take the night off, guys. I was going to just, hey, it's Father's Day. My body's like, fuck you. So I was like, I'll just take the day off. It's understandable on Father's Day, right? I went over to Twitter. You guys, you know how you can tell if Monkey's going to do a show or not? I'm going to let you guys in on a little secret. If I am not active on Twitter during the day, if I'm not, retweeting or tweeting myself, if I do probably say less than 10 of those in a day and I say, I'm going to take the night off, there's a good chance I'm going to take the night off. But that's not what I did. I don't know why I do this. I go over to so yeah, my internet's telling me it's being dickish. So we'll see what happens. You might lose me here for a second, but I'll be back, I promise. Yeah, that I get that so many times, like, you've never touched a woman. I have, I promise. By today's standards, I haven't because my wife doesn't have a penis. But the traditional understanding of women, I've absolutely touched one. Jack to fill in the gaps with Monk. It's not muted. It's not muted. Uh-oh. There we go. I go over to, I said I go over to YouTube or to Twitter. Sorry about that. Yeah, I go over to Twitter and I just run into morons constantly. And yeah, the one of them today, one of their favorite things to say to me is, you've never touched a woman. You've never, ever, ever. I really have. I promise. It's it's really not that hard. All you got to do is be a decent person, and you can get a woman. Plus, I'm cute. I'm funny, charming. I have this wonderful voice. Yeah, I guess it's supposed to be, the hit to your manhood, right? You suck as a person. You could never touch a woman. Look, if I wasn't married, I could probably fuck your mom. I probably could. I'm pretty good at this stuff. AP AP says, I go over to Twitter and run into morons. He was literally just talking to me. Thanks, monkey. In fairness, AP, one of the things that inspired me to actually do the show was the video you shared. So, yes, it was because of you, but it wasn't you. I would talk about your crazy. Oh my God, you guys know I have crazies who follow me on Twitter. Whew. I got nothing on AP. Holy shit. Out of nowhere, this crazy bitch tags him today and just starts losing her shit about how he needs, what was it? You need to look into how her boss raped her. I was like, all right, sure, why not? That makes a lot of fucking sense. He gets the best crazies. He gets the best crazies. I don't know where they come from. They come to me to die. Yeah, apparently, man. You get the actual crazies. I get the I get the weird stalker types, right? I get the ones who I said something that upset them at one time, and so now they have a death grudge against me. Or in the case of Eufio, I insulted that donkey-looking bitch up on Capitol Hill. I was mean to AOC, so he will hate me forever, and it's his life mission to prove that I'm a liar. I don't understand it myself because, frankly, I'm not insane, but you get the ones that are like clinically insane who should probably be in a straitjacket in a padded room. Seriously, man, I watch some of the videos and stuff that you respond to, and these people like, "Hey, P, you ruined my whole life. Look what you did to." It's not Latiti. Who's the other one that actually makes the videos to you? Where like, your people were so mean to me, and they caused me to do crack and get butt fucked by the police or whatever the fuck that crazy bitch says. Adressia. Yeah, that fucking bitch. Holy Christ. Oh man, seriously, if you guys don't watch AP, you need to go subscribe to his channel. Me and him are often streaming at the same time at night. Pick one of us, watch us live, and watch the other one on Memorex because his show is fucking awesome, guys. AP is one of my favorite people on the internet, one of the funniest fuckers you will run into on the internet. And again, dude, as always, I know you've already done your show tonight, but if you're bored, let me know. I will toss you a link. But first we're going to talk about Debate Bros. And you know, if I was smart, well, not if I was smart, because I already know I should have done it. If I wasn't lazy, we would have a whole different thumbnail. Because we have, oh shit, man, it's been a long time since you and I've got to talk in person. I think we've only actually done it once. And I will take you up on that offer. Let me find you here again. Do 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 do. Hang on, guys. This is my finding AP music. Do 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 do. It wasn't that long ago we were talking. There it is. Okay, fuck. Twitter should be easier to find my friends. All right, there we go. Links in your DMs, bud. Yeah, we have this whole debate bro thing going on because that doctor we talked about yesterday, I forget his fucking name. Her twat or whatever it is, I forget. The whole thing about him not debating RFK Jr. has blown up. Like, oh my God, he should have to go out there and defend what he said against these people. Before we get to that, AP, my friend, it has been way too long.
Yeah, man. Well, that's the problem. We always do shows at identical times, so we're a couple of old night owls.
You know what it is? It's the bad hearts.
Yeah, no, that's no joke, man. Speaking of bad hearts, I was doing crawfish today. I had to duck back into the house a couple of times. I was about to suffer from heat exhaustion.
Ooh.
The propane regulator had a little problem, so it wouldn't turn all the way up. So I had it going for about 2 hours, and it wouldn't come to a boil. So I'm in 110-degree Texas heat, standing over a propane campfire for 2 hours. Man, yeah, I had to take a little break there. Yeah. It's the only time I've ever had problems with heat, man. I've never fallen victim to real heat exhaustion before today. It's no joke. When your brain starts to bake, you don't even know you're in trouble until your family's gathered around you hey, man, you're white, whiter than usual.
I am very careful when I'm outside. Growing up in the Virginia heat, I'm very, very careful to make sure I'm like very hydrated if I'm outside for too long.
Oh, being a total dumbass. You're right to do so, and I knew I should have been doing that, but
Yep.
you know, it was, man. I had to go get crawfish at 9:45 in the morning. I jumped in my hot shower into a hot truck. Had to drive, go get
Oh,
crawfish, load up, go to my mother's house, unload, put it all together. You know, and it was just a perfect storm of fuck you up, man. Hadn't eaten because I didn't want to, I didn't eat the night before. And then when I woke up in the morning, I'm like, I need breakfast. I got crawfish coming. So I was trying to stay hungry. Didn't really hydrate. Just a perfect storm of dumbass, man. And it's all my fault.
yeah. Don't you hate those when it's like, yeah, that was my fault?
Yep.
Yeah.
When I'm sitting there thinking about it, like, I didn't even finish the 1 cup of tea that I had sitting on the fence. You know, like,
yeah. You guys, if you're out in the heat, you have to stay hydrated. My father-in-law just told my wife about this story. A guy in Virginia, he's out there doing lawn work and stuff in the 100+ heat. And he got the idea that what he should do is grab his hose, and he has deep well water, which comes out at 50 degrees, and douse himself. Yeah, put himself into shock. Yep. Retro, thank you so much for the gifted sub going out to Michael Hatfield. Appreciate it, my friend. Thank you. Do you even care? Have you been watching this debate bro shit over the RFK Jr. stuff?
No, not really. No, educate me to it, man. I'll get an opinion on it quick.
Oh, no. So RFK Jr. goes on to Joe Rogan's show the other day and explains why he's anti-vax. And this doctor, what the fuck is that doctor's name? The guy's a retard. I don't pay much attention to him.
Or he just described Dr. Fauci for me, but.
Well, he's a Fauci acolyte. He's one of hey, I believe in this 100%. And instead of actually Peter Hotez, that's his name, Peter Hotez. And he comes out, he calls, what did he say? He said with Tucker working with Elon Musk and now Joe Rogan being with RFK Jr., they're really showing themselves to be neo-fascists.
Yeah, I've been called that.
Yeah, so his whole thing is RFK Jr. is wrong. Don't listen to him. And so Joe Rogan says, hey, dude, come on my show and debate him. He goes, I'll tell you what, I will give $100,000 to the charity of your choice if you come debate RFK Jr. on my show. And this guy's like, what he said is, you guys are rich enough that you could come up with $50 million to give to, free vaccine giveaway stuff. So yeah, how about that? And Joe's like, nah, bro, no.
Yeah, no. Your interview is not worth $50 million. No. We put a price on it. It was, what was it? It was 10,000. They said $100,000. That's a lot.
Yeah.
That's good for a 2-hour interview. That's $50,000 an hour, buddy.
One of the things was there was no time limit on the debate, so it could go to 3 hours. $100,000 for 3 hours.
I'd take 33 grand an hour.
No shit.
Pretty good. Yeah.
I would take $3 grand an hour and be the most thankful motherfucker you ever met.
Hey, you know what? For 100 grand, I'll not only do the debate, I'll pretend to espouse whatever opinion you want me to for 100 grand.
Dude, for 100 grand, I'll jack him off after the debate.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just saying.
Idiot. What an idiot. But that was his way out, is he's just worth way more, and you should give people free vaccines.
Well, real quick,
they always jump to fascism. Like, do these people know what fascism was?
Dude, you should have heard my rant on that last night. Real quick, RJ, thank you for the sub. I appreciate it. Really, really do. Yeah, they don't seem to understand that silencing people is part of fascism, not having discussions.
Well, there's... It's like, okay, what did the fascists do? Well, they took mentally ill people and chemically castrated them and then did medical experiments on them.
Wait, that sounds familiar.
Yeah, doesn't it sound familiar? The people screaming fascist are the one doing that. Yeah.
Oh, just a heads up for...
I think Monkey's internet might have gone out. Can you guys still hear him? Chat, can you hear me?
Shit.
There you go. You're back.
There it went. I was just explaining to you that this could happen, and it happened.
Well, I was braced for it. I was listening to the show, so.
Oh, okay, good.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there's a whole bunch of people on Twitter right now. They're having an argument over whether this guy should debate him. And you have the one side is like, just go debate him. And then the other side's like, you should not go on there because what was the thing that we saw yesterday from that Tom fucking retard? I forget his name. He's like, it will make the kooks believe that RFK is right if you go on the show with him. Like,
not if you defeat him.
I say, you just told me that his arguments suck. You know what I mean?
You know, if you get into that ring with Mike Tyson, it's really going to prove the people right that Mike Tyson can beat your ass.
Indeed, right. Real quick, Dangerous asks, does AP have a slabs? No, but how can they donate to you if they'd like to?
Oh, they can't during the monkey show. I'm here on your show, man. You go to that whatever Ranting Monkey Streamlabs is. Don't you dare give me money when I'm on this show.
Fair enough.
This isn't Daywave. That happened one time. I bought an air conditioner. Speaking of Mary, I don't know if you know this story. Adrastia, you were just talking about her.
Oh, yes.
I think it was 2 summers ago. She was making videos about how hot she was. And so we thought it'd be nice to, as a peace offering, I guess, to raise her money for an air conditioner. She told us to go fuck ourselves. So the audience bought me a window unit AC for my house that's still in a box in the garage waiting for a hurricane to roll through so I can hook it up to the generator and live like a king. So I'd like to thank you, Adrastia, for that. And the truck. The last $2,000 for the truck, that was from you. So thank you.
Quite seriously, guys, if you are not following AP, you have to. You have the craziest fucking people, dude.
They come to me to die. I have no idea where they come from. This lady tonight just tags me. Adonis Paul, you're going to be hearing from my dentist soon. You're going to jail.
Wait,
I'm like, what, for what, ma'am? But when I looked at her last tweet and it literally was 3 minutes before that, all in caps, I'm high on pills. So I retweeted that to her and I was like, I think you've already been to the dentist, ma'am. You might need to lay down. I think they gave you a prescription. Are you hitting up the wrong person? And then you saw she goes into she names a guy and says, my boss, this person raped me, asked me about my bald boss. And I'm like, well, I'm sorry you got raped. That's terrible. You should seek justice. But I'll bite. What about your bald boss? And she tells me that it would be treason for her to tell me that. So I don't want her to commit treason. So I don't want to, and I also don't want to put a crazy person up against the wall and make them stop talking. So I was like, okay, fair enough. Is there anything I can help you with? And she tells me to stop the drill or else the world's going to end. So then I told her, I have stopped the drill. Does that help? And she says, none of this matters. I don't give a fuck. I'm going to sleep.
Yeah, guys.
Wild thread, man. I don't know where they come from. I don't know how they find me. If they're really crazy, surely there's not just some network of crazy ass people that's like, go hit up AP.
I just want to show this on screen. I mean, the dentist thing is one of the ones that made me go, what the fuck?
Oh, the day before this, a convicted and admitted child rapist. I don't know if you know the Tyro story. He's kind of run around our community. He posted a blog saying that Los Tejas was a white nationalist gang, a Mexican white nationalist gang that is involved in child trafficking and soliciting pornography to minors.
What? Wow.
He said the members of Los Tejas do this. And so I pointed at the audience. I was like, hey, this is an accusation leveled at you, not me. Which one of you is doing that? But they also, that's a small lie. But then they go big with the lie and they're like, on his show, he advocates for sex with minors. And everyone watching the show is like, yeah, that never happened. We would have burnt this guy to the ground if that had ever happened. But that all comes from James Clark. Because James is just whatever he feels that us saying that, he's a child stalker or whatever, which we got screenshots of that shit. You remember that? Because he feels that was an unjust characterization. Now he gets to just say the same thing about you. It's one of those things where he's like, oh, I'm a child stalker. Well, that's not true. So you're a child stalker. What do you think of that? So apparently Tyro ran with that. Like, so I'm like, dude, you're citing James Robert Clark, dude. This is not good for you. And also aren't you on parole for 10 years? Like, are you supposed to be using the internet? But
let me get this real quick. Jack of Trades, thank you. AP, tell Monkey about how cute my wife is. And then there's an Imager link.
Oh no, it's Jack. Don't click.
I was gonna say, I'm not sure I'm gonna.
Don't put it on screen. Click it. It's usually funny. It's not ever terribly degenerate. It's probably gonna be some manner of plush unicorn or something.
Oh no.
What is it?
Yep, it's a unicorn.
It's a unicorn. That's Jack.
No, yeah. I've seen, see, I get it all the time too, being accused of things that I clearly didn't do, that I never said. And my biggest stalker, I mean, he has accused me of some horrendous shit.
Did they write a blog with your real name on it to make sure that try in an attempt to make sure you can never get a job or something? Calling you
No,
a child
they haven't gone that far yet.
Little did they know I'm only like, well, how many? What we're both, all we got to do is a little more and we can retire too. And I'm chronically self-employed, man. Have been since before the YouTube. I've resigned to that. So good luck. I don't ever plan on filling out an application again. I've developed skills to ensure that I never had to do that again.
Yeah, I can't. I'm crippled. I mean, there's very little jobs I could even do. It'd have to be from my house on my own time. So it's like YouTube or welfare.
Hey,
you know what I mean?
More the reason for all of you in the chat to go to streamlabs.com/whatever link is right there in Monkey's description, or hit that super chat button. He's a cripple. He needs your help.
Indeed.
He's your tiny Tim.
God bless us, everyone.
You better throw him a tuppence, you bastards. He entertains you for hours a night. Didn't even have legs.
Found Streamlabs for AP. No, that one doesn't work, right?
My Streamlabs?
Yeah.
Streamlabs, I believe they considered me a bully at one point.
Oh, is that what happened?
I don't know.
I saw that you had lost it, but I didn't see why. So yeah.
Just plenty of payment processors. Push come to shove, I would just like put a $5 donation on my store as something you could buy and would do it that way.
Oh, there you go.
I mean, that's why my name and everything's on my website. I have what's called a merchant account. It's not just like hooking Stripe up to it. I mean, it's an e-commerce merchant account. So there's what they have what's called PCI compliance. So there has to be a phone number for my business. There has to be, it's just like if I was running a larger online store, but that also protects me from chargebacks. It's a line of credit against people trying to like do chargebacks and do stuff like that. So it's not something you can just tear down. Like you can just make a report to Stripe or something like that. So there's worst case scenarios on top of worst case scenarios. We'll still be making money in Las Tejas.
Speaking of which, are you still friendly with the Revenge of the Sis guys?
Yeah.
Somebody told me the other day they lost their channel.
Yeah, man. Nightwave and ROTC got hit. So it's they're starting. You know what it is, man. And they are one of the larger right. I don't even want to say right leaning, like libertarians who got unnecessarily pulled into the right because all they want to do is be left alone, and then they wouldn't leave them alone. Yeah, I think they're doing some house cleaning on YouTube with the larger commentary streams and channels that may not work for them in the upcoming election.
Did they move over to Rumble?
Yeah, they were already on Rumble with a Rumble exclusive show. It was I don't think it was the giant deal that YouTube might have wanted it to be for them. I mean, of course, it's not good to see them get kicked off. That sucks. But, the good part about that is they were already set up with that Rumble exclusive deal and all that. So it didn't just tear them apart financially. They already weren't streaming on YouTube to begin with. So
Jack had been pushing me for months to get on Rumble. I'm like, yeah, I'll do it. And then I got struck.
On Rumble?
And
here,
yeah. I got struck here. So I went over to Rumble. I've been dual streaming since. There's even a couple of times where I'm like, yeah, this is not going to be okay on YouTube. We're just going to do it on Rumble tonight.
Mm-hmm. I do it every Wednesday. Every Wednesday. All the crap I find from Twitter and Reddit, the videos that you just cannot play on YouTube, Rumble Wednesday, baby. I got people doing backflips off bridges. He survives, but he doesn't fare well. Stuff like that. Well,
let me get this and then we'll talk about it. Evolved Potato, thank you. I think this hate against minors is deserved. They need love too. I'm guessing it's undeserved. They're underground all day doing hard work to keep the rest of us sitting pretty with the material they did.
Oh, you roboted during the super chat. You might want to repeat that last 20 seconds or so. Well, Monkey's out. He'll be back, guys. Until then, I guess it's the Adonis Paul Monkey Show.
Son of a bitch.
There you are. You're back. The audience can still hear me. I covered you.
I appreciate it, but I was reading a donation. Evolved Potato, thank you. Tits is in chat. Hi, Sugar Tits. How you doing, sweetie?
Somebody who understands the value of shaming. Good to see you out there, Sugar Tits.
I saw that tweet. Yes, shaming we need, but I have a problem with YouTube and not allowing us to show videos of people getting hurt.
Oh yeah, I have that issue too. That's what keeps getting me struck on YouTube. What's the issue with no gore on YouTube? Because the news channels are allowed to do it. Oh, Monkey's internet went out again.
There we go.
There we go. You back?
It would be nice if I got any kind of warning that that was happening. Look, guys, hopefully tonight this will get fixed. The AT&T folks are coming. I have 3 internets, AP.
And they're all out?
No, I have my consistent one that's not very good, which is the AT&T. I have the very good one that's not consistent. That's the Starlink. And then I have my Viasat, which I use for game streams.
Oh, wow.
I can't use the Viasat for this because if I have anybody on, there's like a 3-second delay from what I say and what the person with me can hear. I live in the middle of nowhere. This is the best setup I can get. But
small price to pay to get away from people, man.
Indeed. But the AT&T went down on, I think it was Wednesday. So we've been dealing with this issue every day since.
Oh, what a pain. What a pain. I went through that recently with Charter Spectrum, man, and it took about a month of I think 6 texts came out here before they figured out it was the node in the front of the neighborhood. My neighbors my neighbors were coming out and confronting the guy when he had his van parked out in front of the house because all their internet was slow or going out too. And apparently all they use internet for is it was the upload stream. That was the problem, which is a huge problem for me. But for people that are just watching Netflix at night, and then, these people, these normies that surround my house, they never, for a month, they didn't really notice there was a problem until the thing really degraded.
My friend Satsu, he had a problem with he was paying for gigabyte up or gigabyte down, and he was supposed to be getting like 30 megs up. And I'm like, dude, you need to call them and explain to them that you upload videos because most people do not give a damn about their upload speed.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter to them. It
I'll
does
get 11 up.
I get on my on this one I can get up to 15. On my other 2, 3 is the top.
Yeah, 3 will do late night though, so 3 is not bad.
3 is not horrible, but it makes videos on here really choppy. It's not as bad if I was doing it, through like OBS, but yeah, on here it's choppy as fuck.
Yeah, for some reason with StreamYard, I have that problem too, where it'll get I can do an OBS show and stream right to YouTube in 1080, but if I pull up StreamYard, sometimes that roboting will stop.
I talked to the people at StreamYards about this, and it's their code. This was basically meant almost as a meeting kind of spot online. It was meant for just talking. That's all it was meant for.
Oh, we're screwing it up by watching videos and stuff. Sorry.
Yeah. It was never quite meant for that. They've actually made a lot of strides in it. But if you don't have like just blazing speed, it'll fuck it all up.
Yeah.
Anyhow, I want to talk about some retards.
All right.
Talk about some retards.
Yeah, man, that is my paint Niesel.
The first one I want to talk about is the guy that you introduced me to earlier, because Jesus fucking Christ.
Oh, environment, man.
Oh, hang on. Guys, I gotta warn you, he screams through this whole thing. Homie, as somebody who's had heart issues and my friend here has had heart issues, you need to relax.
Yeah, you need to calm down, man. You already look like Mark Ruffalo. I don't want you to Hulk out on us. That in real life, that turns into a cardiac issue. You're not going to go green. You're going to fall down. Yeah,
instead of going green, you're going to go blue.
Yeah, it's not good. Trust me. You don't want to get defibrillated, buddy. Calm down. My whole thing is this guy, we're all going to die. So I don't know what else to tell him. Just screaming about there's 8 billion people on Earth. And I'm like, yeah, man, but like 4 billion of them are in China. So why don't you talk to them?
Well, we'll get to it. All right, let's listen to him scream for just a minute, guys.
Like it. I don't like talking like this. I don't like being like this.
Then stop, you stupid prick.
Yeah, usually when I don't like something, I just don't do it.
Yeah.
He thinks he's saving the world, though, man. He's Jesus Christ. He wants to be a chill guy, but he's making this sacrifice to yell on TikTok for us.
I see these people like, I don't want to do this. Then stop. It's literally that easy. You fucking retard.
He's also short as hell. Just something you should notice that he has to use a ladder in the back to reach a shelf.
Well,
His
look how
bookshelf.
far that fan is above his head.
Yeah, this guy he's trying. He places the camera to try to look tall, but he's about 5'4".
I think you're being kind. I'm guessing 5'2".
Yeah, he's a very little screaming man. He's a wee screaming man.
You ever notice how angry some of the little people get?
Yes, I'm only 5'7" myself, man. I do get angry.
See,
My whole life. And nobody can pick you out when you're in an airport, when you're at a party. No one can find you. It's a pain in the ass. Try to get an Uber as a little guy.
no, see, you say that. I'm 6 foot. I hit those fans all the time. You know, one of the worst things in a house for me is a fan that has a light on it.
Dong. Yeah.
Oh, every fucking time. All right, let's go back to. Oh shit! Hang on. My internet is telling me it's being a bitch. Why is it being so bad tonight?
I don't know. You sound fine on my end.
Last night we only had 2 issues or maybe 3, and then it was fine for like the last hour and a half of the show. Elon Musk, fix this shit. Anyhow. All right, here we go.
In person, I prefer to see the best in people and relate to people through common humanity, even when we disagree.
This is not common humanity, sir. You're screaming at me. I don't know you.
I don't believe you.
We don't even know why you're mad yet, and you're just screaming at us. Okay, you have my attention, buddy. Good marketing. Good job. Now tell me what the issue is.
I just don't believe anybody who's screaming, I want to just be nice to people. I don't believe you.
I don't like people who are screaming. I don't like activists, man. The problem is activists today just want to get attention, but they missed that day in school about negative and positive attention. So if you're blocking traffic, your cause for blocking traffic could be AP is going to die tomorrow and we need to help him to survive. I will still hate you and oppose you because you're holding me up in traffic. I'd rather die tomorrow. Whatever your cause is about, if you piss me off to tell me about it, I hate you. This goes for the environmentalists in Sweden, gluing their hands to Monet paintings. It seems to be with like the environmental protesters seem to all be in Britain and Europe and Australia. I don't know what it is about English-speaking non-American people that are just really into the earth. And I somehow getting topless helps, and I'm okay with that. Just don't do it at a museum where I'm trying to take my kid. I didn't sign up for native cave woman titties were going to be there, but that's scientific.
Thank you, Keldrick. Maybe you need to show Elon your dick so it'll fix your internet. Maybe he works like Susan did. I don't think Elon is interested in my ween. Look, we all know Susan was, but
well, we know one thing Elon is interested in is that crazy lady from earlier. He's reading her private messages. Did you read that part of the thread?
No.
Yeah, you got to make sure to click every comment to read all because she does multiple replies. One of them was she knows Elon Musk. I wrote back, okay, but does Elon Musk know you? And she went into details about how Elon Musk monitors her private conversations and listens to her phone calls. That's what I know. I was dealing with a paranoid schizophrenic, and I should just keep asking probing questions and sipping my coffee.
Yeah, that's
when I become Kermit from the meme where I'm just sipping something like, go on. Tell me more about how Elon. And then it came down to apparently I was drilling to the center of the earth and she told me to stop and I stopped.
Circa Zero, thank you. 5'1". Uh-oh. It popped off my screen and my memory's not good enough to just remember the one line you wrote. Gabapentin's a hell of a drug, y'all.
It's hell cheap.
5'1", so he's a Ralpha male.
Oh yeah, it's not true. It's not true, baby.
We can see you standing next to other people, motherfucker. All right, here we go.
5 foot days, baby.
But these devices and these platforms are being used by radical Republicans to destroy and undermine our democracy and environment. So I am going to spit truth right back at them.
Sir, you don't know what democracy means.
Homie, spitting truth isn't supposed to be actual spit.
Republicans can't undermine the democracy. If we're the majority, then you just have to shut the fuck up. That's democracy, right?
Yes, absolutely. If you're in a country and everybody votes for the fascist, that was democracy.
Yeah, that's the dangerous part about democracy. But That means you didn't make your point well enough against fascism.
Democracy literally just means mob rule. Whoever is the most popular, whatever position is the most popular, that's it.
Also, we live in a constitutional republic, so it's kind of irrelevant when they start screaming about democracy all the time.
I like that line though, undermining democracy and the environment. Don't worry, we'll get there. No, actually, I don't think
you can't
he gets
undermine
there.
Mother Nature. Mother Nature can kill us all at any moment.
And
this guy needs to go outside, go climb a mountain, go scuba diving, go see how powerful Mother Nature is, how big Mother Nature is, and then you'll come home and chill out a little bit.
Nah, bruh, it's us.
So, yeah.
Anyway. All right, Yelly.
In this case, yes, it is true that the climate does naturally change.
Well, at least there's one of them that'll admit it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, trust me, it was hot.
12,000 years ago, the end of the last ice age allowed humans to proliferate through the world.
We were, I'm raising my hand. We were there during the ice age, sir. We did relatively well. We learned how to kill things and wear their skins, and we survived, and a lot of other things died. That's why humans survived the end of the ice age, and many other animals didn't.
If he's talking about being able to come to North America, because we know the North American ice sheet went like through half the country. All right, yeah, it made it so I could live in Michigan. I'm not exactly sure that's a good thing. I don't think people should live here.
No, European colonists made sure that I could live in Texas. I don't even put that on the ice sheet. That we came from France and Britain.
It actually made it easier for people from there to get over here because they had. Anyhow, let's get this guy, man. Seriously, relax, calm down. I get like this over people hurting children.
Yeah, this is next level anger for something that's not really happening right now.
No, well, they don't like to hear that. All right. What's his name? The Gray Canary.
The Gray Canary. Because his stature wasn't feminine enough.
All right, Tweety Bird, take us away.
But it's also true that humans affect climate, you fucking morons.
No evidence of that. Excuse me.
That's not true, man.
Had a little bit of truth stuck in my throat.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and call this out. No, it's not. There is no evidence that human beings have affected climate. We can affect pollution. We can affect CO2 levels to some extent.
Well,
but we have no evidence that the humans are warming. Every time they remember global warming, and then it got colder for a couple of years. Like, okay, now it's climate change.
Like, Cybertaz, thank you, says kill Pablo. We can't kill Pablo on this show.
Yeah, we don't. Pablo's got the night off, man. He's running the gang. He's running my gang while I'm here.
Yeah, that we can affect the environment. Absolutely. That's not the same as affecting climate change. You can destroy a river by putting too much pollutants in there. Absolutely. And you know, AP, I've argued this for going on 20, 30 years now. 30 years now. And people I'd have this argument like, look, there's no proof that we're affecting the climate. And they'd go, oh, what about acid rain? Like, that's not the same fucking
pollution.
thing.
That's not the climate.
They'll
never get it, man. They are locked into this way of thinking. They think it's some kind of altruistic virtue to blame themselves. It's the same thing as self-hating white people, or it's like white people are the worst. And I'm like, you just like to blame. You think it makes you a good person to blame yourself for shit that you did.
It's human. It's also it's human arrogance. Like, we have to be able to do it because look how we are. Like, shut up.
If you ever read The Lost World by Michael Crichton, it was either that or Jurassic Park. Ian Malcolm said some really poignant stuff that it did not make it into the movie. Humans are super arrogant to think we can destroy the Earth. Yes. We are nothing to the Earth. Worst case scenario, we destroy the ozone. Humans die. Plants and animals flourish.
Yep. Some.
The Earth has seen way worse than humanity. And once we're gone, it will continue to see way worse than humanity. It's been hit with meteors. It's had its crust split in half before it had. I mean, you're not going to destroy the Earth. It's very unlikely we're going to radically change our own climate. The climate on Earth may change, but we're going to have to either deal with it with technology, evolution, or die, just like any other species.
we've never had a better chance if we do have a rapid environmental shift of surviving it with the technology we have today. But George Carlin pointed out it's not actually the environment these people care about. It's themselves. They're worried about them dying, not the planet. They say the planet. They don't give a fuck about the planet. I might die. Well, you're gonna, bitch. There's no getting around that part.
Yeah, the likelihood of death for every human being is 100%. So calm down, buddy. Enjoy your family. Go and have a picnic or something. Enjoy the weather we have before it all gets destroyed, according to you. And I'm willing to bet that you'll die and there'll still be sunny days after you're gone.
For you gamers out there, death has a 100% KD, man.
Yeah.
Their ratio is astronomical. Real quick, I had a couple of donations. Let me get these. The Vol Potato, thank you. Also, based on the data that these people show that they use to correlate CO2 and the world temperatures, it actually shows that the temperature change happens thousands of years before the CO2 increase, but they just ignore that. Well, I'll get to that in a second. Also, Keldrick, thank you. Man, white people are the worst. Stop it.
We are.
But
did all this for the environment, man.
But it's because liberal white women and beta men keep bitching about white guilt and how terrible white people are. Self-fulfilling prophecy, I tell you what. Fair enough. Fair enough.
Not me. I've never killed anyone, never raped anyone, really never victimized anyone. Insulted some people, but I'm pretty sure heaven's a lock for me. Most people are pretty cool.
When it comes to the 10 Commandments, I'm solid on those, man.
Yeah, love my parents. Don't steal, don't kill, don't covet my neighbor's wife.
I've seen my neighbor's wife. She ain't worth coveting.
I've seen mine through the window, and I may have broken that commandment once. I didn't do anything about it.
But to the first donation there. Look, these people's models can't even predict modern day. They just can't, because they're programmed to say that the earth is going to die because it's activism. It's not science. That's what it is.
We still don't know how climate and weather work. We still can't put together accurate weather models. There's too many factors in play. I mean, I hate to, after I just quoted Ian Malcolm from that book, go back to chaos theory, but it does apply here.
It does.
There's too many factors that we still can't simulate weather patterns correctly.
Right now, I don't know, how old are you? If you give me a general range.
How old am I? 42.
Yeah. What's that? I'm sorry.
I'm 42.
Oh, so yeah, you're about. I'm 48, so we're in the same group. When we were kids, it was always the joke that the weatherman was going to be wrong.
Yeah, he was never right.
Never right. And today, it's a little bit better. They can almost predict tomorrow.
Hey, and remember Back to the Future 2, the first thing they said that shocked us about the future and Back to the Future 2 is, I wish the mail service could be as good as the weather service.
Yes. That's the joke he makes, because the rain stops like that.
Right, because the weather service in our time was always wrong.
Right, yeah. So even that is a guess, but they're like, no, we know exactly what. Fuck you. You don't know shit.
I mean, you see a big patch of clouds moving south, and you kind of predict with where the winds are, where it's going to go. But take it from the guy who lives in a hurricane zone. How many times have we evacuated? And Ike, right after Katrina, Ike was coming for it. It looked like it was coming for Houston. Everyone in Houston clogged the road. It was a huge logistics mess. People were running out of gas from here to Dallas trying to get away from it. Last second, it kicks over to the east and it hits Lake Charles in Beaumont. They didn't see it coming.
The years that I spent in Virginia, so about from 85 to 92-ish. Is that right?
I don't know. I don't know when you were in Virginia.
I'm trying to think. I know I'm doing the math in my head. I think that's what it was. The first hurricane we had there was Gloria, which did a little bit of damage. And my mom, because it was our first hurricane, she took us up to the mountains. But it was so mild that after that, she's like, nah. And we never really got hit by a hurricane. They predicted tons of them were hitting us. And yeah, they can't even predict that shit.
I remember one came up the East Coast that was real bad when I was a kid. Probably in the late 80s. I don't know if it hit Virginia. There was something terrible that hit that went up the East Coast.
Was Gloria? I mean, Gloria did some damage. I want to say north of us, because Virginia Beach, for those of you who don't know, it's at the very bottom of Virginia. It's you're not that far from North Carolina, actually.
You know what they also say is now we're having increased hurricane season hurricanes, but did that happen last year? I don't remember.
Am I still here? There we go.
So yeah, you're still here. So now I guess they're going to switch it over to the decrease of hurricanes is the bad thing. Look, we're not getting any more storms.
When Katrina hits, Al Gore goes out there and says, "Look, it's causing all of these hurricanes." And meteorologists around the world went, "Don't say that shit." Because there's literally no proof that it has anything. And then we have this period of the lowest in modern days of tracking, the lowest amount of landfall of hurricanes in recorded history. And it goes for like 10 years, like a decade of it being really, really quiet.
Yeah, we have what's called generational storms. We have storms that just come through, like an ice storm will come through southeast Texas every 50 years or so. That hasn't increased or decreased ever. In my lifetime, I think we've gotten that kind of snow one time. And they want to free this is climate change. And I'm like, well, but this happened in they would, you know what always gets me is when they say, this is climate change. This is the worst this has been since 1972.
Yes.
And I'm like, but if it was worse in 1972, wouldn't it be an improvement?
Right. That's always been one of my, this is the worst that we've seen since the 60s or so. Like, well, what caused it back then, bitch?
Yeah. You can't get answers from these people on that though, because they're locked into this, their income, their livelihood, and it's become an ideology. It's become almost a religion. You have to believe this, or you are an apostate.
Bro, I call it the Church of Climate Change. I have for a long time.
And it's not just that though, man. Like these different weird, whatever your activist cause is, it becomes your religion. Like we have this Church of the Rainbow. We've got where people you can become an apostate from them. All you gotta do is go, yeah, I don't think we should be putting this genderqueer book in elementary schools. It's got illustrations of boys filleting each other. That's child pornography. Well, you're out of here. You're out of the cult. And they all come with a moral superiority complex. It's what makes it almost a religion. Like you remember back in the day during the Inquisition, the Spanish could do shit to you. You weren't allowed to do to them because God was on their side. They could tie you to a stake in the street and burn you.
Oh, yeah.
But God forbid you do that to a Catholic. They'll war on your ass for 10 years because God's on their side. Instead of God now, they refer to it as we're on the right side of history. But you're not always on the right side of history because we thought lobotomizing people was on the right side of history at one point. We thought that blacks were a different species of humanity that didn't feel pain like we did. So we could take a lash to their back and put them in a field 12 hours a day to work. And they were just basically cattle people. That was science in the 1800s. Yep. They were on the right side of history. They were also Democrats, by the way.
They absolutely were. I have a theory on this that with the I'm not a religious person, AP, but I can see what's happening. And you see with this lack of religion, people trying to find something meaningful in their life to replace that.
That might be a bit because there is a absolute correlation between I don't want to say atheism, but secularism, just nothing, spirituality, whatever it happens to be for you is a big slice in the pie of life.
Yes.
You are missing a big slice out of the pie of life if you think you are your own aspiring emperor. There's nothing bigger than you other than the government. So that's what they are doing now. They worship the government. If their president is in, they become government worshiping blind followers. But let a Republican get in there and they become rebellious, antisocial, just anarchists. We saw it during the Trump years.
Oh, yeah. Oh, absolutely. If all potato, thank you so much. They also have been found to be faking data. Yeah, we saw that with the email leaks. In Australia, where I am, literally all of their data isn't usable because they were found to be making shit up. These were government-funded scientists that were pushing an agenda. With Michael Mann, that piece of shit, the godfather of global warming, they found that these fuckers, this is where the hide the decline thing came from. Somebody broke into their email system and released all these emails that showed they were faking shit. And what did the masses do? Oh, that doesn't matter.
Yeah, they didn't care.
That doesn't matter. That doesn't mean anything.
Well, we've seen studies get denied at Harvard because the results may not conform to the perspectives of some of their students.
You know, my favorite thing about this is, and I mean this sincerely.
What is it?
The not NORAD. What is it? The National Oceanic and Aviation Administration, whatever the fuck it is, NOAA. They showed on their stuff for 19 years that there was a pause. They talked about this a lot at the time. The pause, the pause, the pause. And some people were like, no, there's no pause. Michael Mann, the guy I just mentioned, he wrote a story saying, what happened? No, the heat's actually being trapped in the ocean. And then other people were like, oh, it's because all of the trees have been grown and we didn't make our predictions didn't count that. And then they come out, and this is true. You guys can look this shit up. They went, actually, we've just been reading that data wrong for 19 years.
We've been being told since we were children that every 7 years, we're told in 7 years, the ice caps are going to melt and we will not have any more coastlines. I have seen no proof of that in 42 years. I'm sure I will not see proof of that when I'm 49. I will not see proof of that when I'm 56. I will not see proof of that when I'm 63 if I make it to 63. I just don't. They're always right. They've always got the science, and then it doesn't happen because you cannot predict these things. We don't understand it yet.
AP, these are assholes are like, there's too much CO2, and then they're like, we didn't predict that would cause massive plant growth.
Yeah, too much. You know what CO2 does? Yeah, exactly. It grows plants, which create oxygen to balance it. That's called an ecosystem. You know that thing you're supposed to know about, environmental scientist?
That's shit that's taught in 4th grade, man.
It all kind of fits together and works together perfectly, almost like there was a creator. I'm actually not religious, but it kind of just worked as a joke just then.
Evolved Potato said we have pictures from 100 years ago with sea levels at the same level. True story. We absolutely do. Anyhow, let's watch a little bit more of this idiot because I do want to get to a certain part of this video. All right, dummy, let's go.
It is possible to have a morning and an afternoon.
That's not comparable, you dumb fuck.
That's time, sir. That's
Yes, nature causes wildfires, and it's also true that if you pour gasoline on fires, you make it worse.
Pouring gasoline on fires is not global warming causing fire. Your problem with the wildfires is that you fucking idiots stop doing proper forest management, you dumb son of a bitch.
Yeah, and you refuse to, and you don't want to put the money into it, but that's okay because when we had that big freeze in Texas, I had a friend who used to live down here and moved up to Colorado, and he thought he just had his liberal ass just had a field day going in on us because it was all our fault this happened. I can't even remember the excuses because it's late. I'm tired, and I almost had a heat stroke earlier. But now I told him every year Colorado has wildfires. I'm going to hit you up and tell you deserve it. We're going on 4 years now that I've called this dude JJ, and I've specifically ragged on him about the wildfires in Colorado. I don't know. It happens every year. They don't clean up and when Trump said that they're not doing proper forest maintenance, he was laughed at.
Yes.
They mocked him for that.
You know what? And that he said that because it had come from a report that had said that. And then
it's almost like he's the president and they give him daily reports on this stuff.
And then after he says it, they quietly agreed with it. I think it was the New York Times ran a really small article and, oh yeah, by the way, Trump was right.
Oh, yeah. No, you're not going to get any. Yeah, it's going to be, if you're going to read that normally, it's going to be in the Post.
All right. We still haven't got to the dumb part that I wanted to get to.
In the case of the climate, we have 8 billion people on the planet. We have never seen anything like this in the history of humanity.
It's the highest population ever, and we've never seen it before. That's kind of weird.
Well, maybe we should stop fucking. Just where I'm at with it.
In the last 100 years, we have quadrupled our population. Prior to that, we had never doubled in 100 years. From 0 to 1,500, we didn't even double. And that was under 500 million people.
All right, that's the part I wanted to get to. Go ahead.
I was going to say, and yet you could still fit all of those people into a space the size of Las Vegas.
Yeah. He makes this like this is some kind of point. This is just compounding, guys. If you have 1 and you double it tomorrow, you have 2, and you double that, it goes to 4. You double that, it goes to 16, and then to 32, 64, 128, 512. And suddenly you go from that 1 to 512. How'd you get there that fast? It's only like, what, 7 steps, 8 steps? The more people we have, the more people we're going to have. That's just how it goes. And it's going to go faster and faster because you have more people adding to the population, you silly shit.
Mathematically makes sense. It does take 2 people to breed to make 1 new person. Seems legit, yeah.
I don't understand what his point is here. And
that
by the way, guys,
that there's too many people, and that this guy right here, I'd love to know what
Population Bomb.
What was that?
Population Bomb. Do you know that book?
Oh no.
Go ahead.
Retard.
This is a book that came out in the 70s where this I'm using air quotes scientist said we have this population bomb and it's going to cause all of us to starve to death. That was supposed to happen like 30 years ago. For some reason,
you know what? I do think I read something vaguely about that.
Yeah, for some reason, people still treat this guy like he means shit, and every so often they'll bring him out and be like, "What do you think of the population now?"
I got a question for all these environmental activists.
Mm-hmm.
Why aren't you environmental scientists? I always find that I never find any environmental scientists screaming and being in the streets doing this stupid shit. It's almost like you're just impotently bitching. None of these people do anything about it. If you really cared about the planet, you would go back to school, you would get a degree in environmental science, and you would do something about this problem. But it just seems a lot easier to bitch about it when you come home from your customer service job, huh, Gray Canary?
One, I'd like to point out my pause game is still better than anyone's. I'm the best, hands down.
His good pause game. I can feel his anger.
It's not even on purpose. It just kind of happens. I don't understand what they expect, because like Greta Thunberg, right? She's like, I'm just gonna not go to school or do anything because you guys ruin the planet. Bitch, that should make you want to go to school to fix it.
Yeah. No, that's not her plan. Her mother both of her parents are entertainers. They're attention seekers, and they've raised her to do the same thing.
Yeah. Bunch of dirty little hippies. And we don't like hippies around here.
Not a fan.
Mostly because they don't bathe.
I just don't like hippies. I was raised not to like hippies. They're annoying. They're lazy. The only thing I like about hippies is I like the pot aspect of their lifestyle, but that's about it. You can be a pothead and not be a dirty pussy advocating for communism.
Thank you, Val Potato. Isn't it a big thing for pro-immigration people that Western countries aren't reproducing at a sustainable rate? So that's why we need to import thousands from the third world. But wouldn't decreasing the population be a good thing for these people? Well, when they talk about this population bomb, they never talk about where it's happening at. The U.S. has not doubled in size in the last 10 years or whatever fucking bullshit he's talking about. A lot of this is China, because China has 4 billion people. And when those 4 billion people replace their own selves and add to it, it becomes 5 billion and then 6 billion. We'll be at 10 billion in my lifetime, easily.
Yeah, America is not growing in population necessarily because we're breeding so much, because a lot of the other countries are breeding and they're sending that problem here.
Yep. That's exactly what's happening. So China has about 1.4 billion. Okay, Peter. They make sure to correct me when I'm exaggerating.
You know, it's funny, Monkey. I go to Mexico a few times a year, man. I live close. It's only like a $99 flight to Cancun, so it's cheaper than actually going to Galveston and getting a beach house. I've never noticed when I go to Mexico that they're lacking Mexicans, but there are so many Mexicans. You know, what was it last year over the border? 3 million. So,
yes, it wasn't like 3.5.
Why isn't Mexico empty?
Well, you have to remember a lot of that 3 million is not just Mexico. Some of it is El Salvador and
Venezuela,
Ecuador, and
yeah.
yeah.
And Arabs, a lot of Arabs are coming over the border. Yeah.
Yep.
And way more than we thought originally. There was just a report on that. And one of the surprising, there was a nurse. We had her a video on late night, and she treats people at the border for their injuries when they jump the wall. Not being funny. That's really a problem.
Thing. Yeah.
And she said that they had like 90 Arabs detained, Russians coming over the border, saying that they are getting their political asylum seekers because they can't fly to America, so they got to fly to, it's like if an American's going to go to North Korea for business, you fly him to China, and he goes to North Korea from there. Same thing applies here.
Yeah. We make the joke all the time, people who want to come over here. I'm like, just go to Mexico. Guys, that really happens. There's a ton of people who just go into Mexico and come up. Do you remember the video of the guy whipping the Haitians? They were coming across the southern border. They didn't swim from Haiti. They're coming through Mexico.
You know what's really shitty is when I have to get married and then pay $10,000 and prove that I can support my Canadian bride before I can move her to America, or I could have married a Mexican for free. It's really shitty.
Right. Yeah, I forgot she's Canadian. Yeah, I didn't even think about that.
Winnipeg's not really Canada. It's like 30 miles over the border. There's no culture shock when you fly. There's nothing when you fly to Winnipeg. It's the worst place in Canada. No, I'm serious. The wildfires wouldn't even go to Manitoba. Look at a map of the wildfires. They have them in Ontario. They've got them in Quebec. Nothing in Manitoba. Starts again in Alberta. They won't even go there. You know what Winnipeg is famous for, Monkey?
What's that?
No, I'm really asking you. Nobody knows.
No, I don't.
Neither does anybody else.
I was just laughing at the notion of the word.
Oh, it sucks he cut out right there because I really wanted to hear what word he was laughing at. We'll wait till Monkey gets back. Spectre, good to see you. Eagle, good to see you out there. Hoping you guys can still hear me. RJ Bandsmud68 says, my best friend is from Winnipeg, AP. Even he agrees with you. Indeed, Winnipeg natives know better than anybody else. There is nothing to do in Winnipeg except go to Jets games. Monkey, are you back?
I am back.
All right.
Real quick, Frosted, thank you. Short Angry Man says there's too many people in the world. Can we play it safe and make sure he gets into art school?
Here's my plan. If you're going to start population controlling people by force, like the art school, the German art school student tried to do. We don't do it by race. We don't do it by any of that. We do it by IQ. Oh, I think that's the best for the human race, right? You want smart humans. That's how evolution works. Two smart people get together. You have smart offspring. But I don't think they want to go with that plan. For some reason, I think they would call that plan that has nothing to do with race or religion or creed. I believe that would still be called racist for some reason. I don't know why.
Oh, the part you guys missed, I was saying that I just found it funny, trying to find the worst of Canada, because you would just watch that video of the little white woman in Toronto screaming the N-word over and over again.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, man, that dirty bitch.
Hey, she is dirty, but I think, if I can't fix her, I can definitely make her worse.
Look, man, we should not give white girls alcohol, okay? We've seen so many videos of just white women clearly drunk off their ass causing problems.
You know what my biggest problem with white women is these days? And we didn't have this problem, I don't think, back in our time, but it's really becoming a problem these days. They become white rice. There's nothing interesting unless you put something on top, whether it be they date a black guy and they become black. You know what I mean? You've seen those white girls.
Oh yeah.
Or they have to appropriate something. This now and the new thing is genderqueer. That's what they love to do, is appropriate gay culture. Because now to be in the gay community, which is a very accepting community, accept anybody. It's highly sexualized. You're definitely going to get laid over there. You don't even have to commit to be gay. I hate to sound like the old guys, but back in our day, you had to commit to that shit. You had to put something in your mouth or so. You had to commit.
Had to suck a dick.
Yeah. But these days, you don't even have to do that. You can just be pansexual, polysexual, asexual. You don't fuck anybody.
No. See, my favorite thing about this is the male lesbians, because that used to be a joke. When we were kids, that was a joke.
Yeah, that was a
people would
joke. We're male lesbians. I support the gay people. I'm a male
make.
lesbian.
A male lesbian.
Those things exist now.
Yeah, that's the thing.
They
Like,
get tits put in. They're serious about it.
I don't know how that joke became real, but it did.
I don't know how we grew up with Starship Troopers and I cannot wait till we get co-ed locker rooms. And we got co-ed locker rooms, but it was guys in dresses and panties trying to go in.
Yeah,
Where's Dizzy? Where's Dizzy with the good tits? And what happened?
Now it's just a guy waving his dick in children's faces and them going, this is inclusivity.
It's not. Please stop. We didn't have any problem with you. I grew up, dude. Gay existed since way before my time. It was fine. Just please leave the kids. And I don't remember the gays and lesbians and bisexuals. They always want to say the LGBT community. No. I don't remember gays or lesbians or bisexual people ever being like, we want access to your kids to tell them how cool our lifestyle is, even though it is a lifestyle with increased chance of sexually transmitted disease, abuse, mental illness, and by our own admission, a life of hate and oppression. I don't want that for my kid. If she turned out to be something like that, we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. But I'm not going to if I came to you with a shot and I said, I want to give this to your kid, 41% likelihood there's going to be an attempt on the child's life. The child might die if I give it to him. Higher likelihood of STDs, mental illness, and for somehow I could put into a shot domestic abuse. Would you want me to give your kid that shot?
No, not at all.
And they can't understand why we're like, please just let the kids grow up. Let's not highly sexualize them. And they say, well, they have straight culture rubbed in their face. And I'm like, that's 97% of humanity. That's called a status quo. That's not straight culture. At one point, you just got to admit that's just called being normal.
And yes, exactly. And they're like, no, you're forcing it on them. No, that's just normal.
No, we weren't. We didn't have books showing blowjobs. They might see their parents give each other a peck, a kiss, or a hug. No one was fucking in front of the kids. That's not straight culture. We did not bring strippers into the school and start having them strip and be like, that's straight culture right there, boys. That would have made gym class so much cooler. But I mean, instead of us having to climb the rope and have a stripper come out there and swing around on it, but it didn't happen.
We embraced this stupidity that came from Tumblr. Let's be honest, where it came from.
The internet,
it used to be, if somebody was delusional, we would tell them you're delusional, and now we're like, no, that's normal.
Well, also delusional, crazy people used to be isolated.
Yeah,
they didn't have a network that the crazy person from New York and the crazy person from Dallas and the crazy person from Chicago could all get together and be like, hey, we have like 80 crazy people here. This is normal. Let's start a group. Let's add P to the end of LGBT, No.
Well, look, adding the T was wrong anyway, because LGB is sexuality and T is not.
Supposedly was gender dysphoria, which presented in 0.003% of the population, and only presented in men until 5 years ago. And let's say due to social stigma, let's not even 10 times, let's say 100 times that number, there still should not be two of these kids in every classroom. Bill Maher, I hate to quote Bill Maher because he's a prick sometimes, but he's a tolerable prick to me. He said either Ohio is shaming them or California is making them. But we have to explain this.
They are making this. It's what they're doing because they're encouraging this nonsense. Again, this is the kind of stuff you used to go, no. And now you have the president of the United States going, they're the most important people to the country. What the fuck are you talking about, old man?
Yeah. He called us all gay. He said pride is everyone. I'm like, did this fool just call me gay? Did the president just call me gay? I was worried about it, but then the next day at a gun control speech, he said, God save the queen in his speech. So I was like, wow, man, you are lucky you're not a president back in like the 17 or 1800s. I'd have tarred and feathered your ass for that shit. Also, the queen's dead. You're in America. We're not Britain anymore, by the way.
If you're going to say that, it's God save the king.
Yeah. He doesn't know.
No, he's retarded. Faithless says it's a social disease, a mind virus. It is. It's social contagion. It's absolutely. And, I don't know how much you pay attention to that, but if you read stuff from detransitioners, it always is that. I was a little different, and then the people told me, you're probably trans, and so I went that way.
You can, if you suggest things to kids and reward them with positive reinforcement, they'll do it.
Yes. You know, I need this explained to me, and maybe you can do it because nobody else can. How is it that they tell me, look, pushing this on kids, it's showing this to kids, that doesn't affect them at all. But they'll also tell me you can't put a Transformers toy commercial in a television ad that runs during the day during cartoons because that'll make the kid want it.
Oh, I got a better analogy than that. Okay, so you don't think that teaching children about things in school of a certain nature and then giving them positive reinforcement when they react to it and become the thing, you don't think that makes them anything? Okay. How do you feel about inviting the Catholics into every school?
Oh, right.
Just, want to explain Catholicism to the children? How about the Muslims? That probably wouldn't be good with the LGBT community or whatever. Yeah. Ideology is ideology is ideology. We're leaving it out. If you're going to have an ideology in a government-funded public school, it better be God bless America. There was nothing wrong with that. Raise your hand to the flag and learn math. In the beginning, you pledge allegiance to the flag. That's it. You learn math. You learn history. You go home. Not even with like heterosexual sex. I was in the 7th grade when they gave us health class.
Yes, me too.
And they didn't even
7th grade.
They didn't teach us shit. They didn't teach us how to okay. All right, you know how they got books for these queer kids teaching them how to fillet one another. Did you learn how to go down on a woman in health class?
No.
You had to learn that shit by trial and error. So fuck these people, man. That's just on a resentment basis. I didn't get any. I had to learn about sex in the back of a school bus like every healthy American child.
Damn Skippy. And look, I understand the arguments for sex ed, I really do. But there's a difference between teaching and pushing.
Well, teaching biology, how reproduction happens, is different from, hey, I got a video. We watched a video of a teacher talking about how to anally pleasure another man, like very specifically how to give an anal orgasm. And these were like freshmen in high school.
Keldrick, thank you. But God Save the Queen is just a joke, guys. Can't tell you how many times I saw idiots say that. I'm not shocked. So was him being confused about where to go afterwards also a joke? Shit, what did you just say? Fuck.
I don't know. It's late and I'm high and I haven't slept.
I got distracted. That happens. Yeah. I'm sick of this shit. I really am. I'm tired of the LGBT. Oh, that's what I was gonna say. It's not just the books with the filleting pictures. They had books in there where a grown man has sex with a child.
I did not see that. However, it doesn't surprise me.
What's the name of it? Lawn Boy. It's a book called Lawn Boy that was in middle schools. And it wasn't
one
presented.
Of those things.
It wasn't presented as statutory rape. It was a good thing.
I read into one of those on Twitter today. There was a guy trying to convince us that there's nothing wrong with man-boy love, except for American man-boy love is Americans are over-sexual creatures. We do it. We fuck too much. That was his problem. Then tried to go get us to read something by Homer.
Shit.
I'm like, so you're using a BC age of consent standard, a before Christ age of consent standard in 2023. No, I won't allow 1800s age of consent standards. Kids are maturing later and later. We have this extended adolescence now that goes into their 20s. So, I mean, if that's going to be the case, then the age of consent needs to raise a little bit too. If you're telling me that this kid is not because, we live in a softer world. Hey, you could be a plantation owner at 16 back in the early 1900s, late 1800s. Would you let a kid run a 16-year-old run a farm that you know today?
No, absolutely not.
Outside of one that was raised on a farm, fair enough. If you're in Nebraska or something.
I probably wouldn't let a 20-year-old do it.
Yeah. I'm expected to keep my child on my insurance until she's 21 now.
26.
26? I thought it was 21. They raised it again. The bastards.
It was Obama. That was under Obama that got raised.
Well, then you better raise the age of consent to 26 too. You stay away from my daughter until she's off my insurance and I'm not paying for whatever pregnancies or all that. No.
Yeah, it's 26. We've turned, especially with the expansion of college, because when we were kids, most people didn't go to college, and then they pushed this, and it's just become a way to keep kids young again. When you and I were kids, it was like, when you turn 18, you need to go get a fucking job.
Yeah, get out.
Get out.
Our job is done. If you have
And
been anything but a model child, that is a pleasure to get around the house. It's time. May not get kicked out, but it's time to start having that talk.
I knew kids that when they turned 18, they'd start paying rent to their mom and dad if they stayed at home.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
That was a learning lesson. That was my grandfather's house that he made me do that. I
Yep.
was living over there because it was closer to school. So my mom lived in an apartment. It was complicated, but like I had a mom, but it was not in the right school district where we lived. It was kind of a different, more dangerous school district. So I stayed in the suburbs, technically, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. Oh no, I understand. I've been to school districts where that probably would have been the best way to do things.
Oh yeah. Not the one. I would have been. If anyone's familiar with the Houston, Texas area, instead of going to school on 1960, I would have been going to school in North Shore. I would have been one of the few white students. So probably better.
I went to a mostly black school, and it's actually one of the best schools I went to. But this is back in the 80s. This is back when if you acted up in class, a teacher would smack you in the back of the head. There was a kid who used to sit in front of me. His name was Trenton. I don't know why his parents named him after a city in New Jersey, but that was his name. And almost daily, the teacher hit him in the back of the head.
Oh, I mean, maybe he kept him. They must have ended that before I got into high school. No, when I was there,
it was one of those things you weren't supposed to do, but everybody knew he deserved it, so nobody said shit.
Fair point. I remember I was still in middle school. It was about 4 years before we got to high school, but there was a fight and one in my high school. It was at the Conroe High School, and it was between the whites and the rednecks and the black kids. They were integrating into that school. Not integrating, they were busing them.
Mm-hmm.
And the fucking Klan showed up at the school.
Wow.
Yeah.
Damn.
Just interesting story about why I didn't really want to go to a school that had like weird race relations at the time. I was like, I'm just gonna stay with this school it's got a good mix. We had a good mix of everybody. There was some gangster shit going on, but there were also a lot of preps, white stoners and shit like that. It was a little bit safer, and also, you can get there easier. We just hop in the car with our friends. It was in the neighborhood and everything, so I wasn't going 20 miles away.
Where I lived in Virginia, I lived in two places. I've lived in Virginia Beach and then Norfolk. I don't know how much you know about that. Virginia Beach. I know
Virginia Beach, man.
It's a nice town and mostly grew as big as it did because of the Navy being there. I am a Navy brat. But my parents got a chance to get us out of Navy housing and move into a house in Norfolk. So I ended up going to a black school. But this is at a time when black parents wanted their kids to succeed. That doesn't happen a lot anymore. Hashtag not all. I know a lot of black parents who do, but there's a lot of them who are like, oh, fuck the system. It's against us, that kind of nonsense. So the school I went to was actually very nice. The kids were very well behaved. And even in my advanced classes, half the class was black.
We didn't have guns popping off and shit, even though we did have that threat of gun. It was kind of that part of the 90s, but it didn't really pop off.
We moved back to Virginia Beach. Financial, mom and dad couldn't handle anymore. Mom passes away. We moved back to Virginia Beach. And we go back into Navy housing and the school that most of the Navy brats go to. It was a month after we got there, the first football game of the year. 2 kids get shot at the football game.
Goddamn.
Over some
Navy school?
It's not a Navy school.
Well, over the Navy brats, logistically where
it's where most of us went. Yeah. That is probably the worst school I've ever been to because it was the most racist school I ever been to. The different groups hated each other, especially the Filipinos. Oh, they hated everybody. You had to watch your ass around the Filipino gang.
We had Vietnamese kids, and there was one Vietnamese kid. I'm gonna say his whole name because it rhymes. I'm sorry to dox you. I hope you're doing good today. His name was Van Tran, and Van Tran was a gangster. That's all I could say about the kid. Like we had Asian gangsters there. So the Vietnamese roll hard. I can kind of relate to your problem with the Filipinos there.
Yeah. Off air sometime I'll tell you the name of the school and some stuff about it. But it was the worst school I went to, and it was majority white. But this is also at a time where you suddenly have this switch over where moms aren't paying attention to their kids as much as they used to.
No, television. We as a generation were just sat in front of the TV.
Yep.
Now, which is worse. It's worse today because now we just give a kid an iPad. Now it's interactive. Now the parent has been replaced.
Yeah.
And these kids, they don't really have an attention span. Even me fucking around on the internet so much, I realize my attention span has shrunk. I can't sit down and just watch a movie anymore. I always want to fast forward through the bullshit.
Oh.
I find myself instinctively watching a movie on television or something, and then wanting to and having to remind myself this is TV or it's live. You can't just fast forward through it.
I may have watched a movie last night on Twitch that is in theaters.
Oh yeah, was it The Flash?
It might have been. It might have been a superhero movie.
All right.
That movie's hot garbage, dude.
Yeah. What? Hey, but we don't say that about Trader Horn streams because they're great.
I wouldn't. I don't know the name of the channel because I wouldn't say it out loud because this is all hypothetical. I might have.
Well, okay, yeah. I may have also.
Yeah,
been enjoying The Flash. Yeah. I've also enjoyed a little bit of The Flash last night, which is why I got no sleep and ended up almost dying of heat exhaustion today.
That movie, there's parts of it that are great, but only about 3 minutes of it, and the rest of it is just hot trash, man.
I remember Michael Keaton said, "Let's get nuts," and that was the part of the movie where I was like, "Yeah," and then the rest of it, I'm like,
Well, when he says, "I'm Batman," I mean, you know it's coming, but like, cool.
Yeah, and the OG Batman suit where he can't turn his head and shit. That was,
yes.
I mean, good callbacks on Batman. Wasn't a super big fan of the rest of the film, but I sat through it.
I like the fan service that they give you when he's talking to himself about going back in time and everything's colliding. I don't want to give too many spoilers here, but that kind of the fan service they give you there is kind of cool. But yeah, that movie was just trash. Holy shit.
Yeah.
I didn't mean to get off topic there, guys, but yeah, that was just fucking trash.
No, we were talking about just how life in America is trash. It's been a very, very disconcerting conversation. We went from scientists are wrong to Jesus, man, the world is crap today. What happened?
You know, when it comes to the vaccine guy, I'm honestly up in the air about this. I don't know. And I want to hear more information. I want to read more information. I know the COVID one, it was rushed. I hate the fact that like, oh, you can never sue over this. I think there's a lot of bad that went on. I think there was some good to it, guys. I'll just tell you. I think old people and fat people probably needed it. Just saying. I don't think they should have given it to kids. And I think young, healthy people didn't need it.
There were a couple of good things that came out of COVID that I appreciated. I became very comfortable with getting groceries and Amazon deliveries instead of having to go out and do stuff. We now schedule doctor's visits. You don't go sit in the waiting room with a bunch of people anymore. You get in and out. They got used to that because of COVID. Not bad.
I love the fact that when I see my neurosurgeon or she's not a neurosurgeon, she's a neurologist. When I see her now, I just have to do it by phone because her office is 70 miles away.
Yep. And Zoom court. If you ever have to go to traffic court now, they just Zoom court that shit. You make a payment on your credit card, you're done.
Going to the doctor by phone is awesome because you don't have to go by them fucking sick people.
Exactly.
However,
you call in your prescription, you can get your prescription delivered on. I want another plague. I want to sit around the house for another month and day trade and get free checks from the government. That sounds good to me. I just said I want to be a bum.
You did, but that's all right. I just don't like. No, it's not Teledoc. It's actually it's my doctor, and just I see her by phone now. It's
Some
not like
doctors you can
anything
do
ever
that, yeah.
changes. She calls me and like, is anything changed? Like, no. It's like, all right, we'll keep giving you your medicine. Worst $50 I spend every year. I do think though,
$50 a year, it's not the worst. I promise you.
I know, I understand. Look, man, my pills, fuck that.
Yeah, I get it.
I do think that society. I get what you're saying about being able to order everything, but I really don't like that we're all so secluded now. Like,
yeah, it's a double-edged sword though, because we are secluded now, but due to social media, now we don't grow apart from people that we would normally healthily grow apart from.
Yeah, but here, let me give you an example using what we used earlier. This doctor goes on to fucking Twitter and he's willing to call these guys all neo-fascists behind his screen. He would never say that shit to their
Oh,
face.
yeah. I was going to do a video on this called Rise of the Casual Asshole. A casual asshole did not, you had to be a real asshole to be an asshole back in my day because you were doing it to people's faces.
Yes.
There was respect there. You had to be willing to get punched. If you know, I mean, and I hate to say it like that, but violence is the authority that all other authority is derived from.
You know, I watched part of a debate today. It was this dude arguing with this feminist, and he's like, equality is not a real thing.
No.
He said, here's why. Because whoever's strongest, and they were in the sense of men versus women, like women, all of your rights come from men, and we could take them back at any time.
Yeah. What do you no? Well, violence doesn't solve anything. If I may quote Starship Troopers, what do you think the city fathers of Hiroshima would think about that statement?
Violence solves a lot.
Yeah.
Now, that doesn't mean we should always turn to violence, guys. But what you were saying, back when we were younger, if you were too big of an asshole, there was a threat of getting hit.
Yeah.
And
if you were going to run around and be a white nationalist, you had to be willing to get your ass kicked to do that. Now you can just go on the internet and just espouse whatever, or BLM for that matter.
And these fucking cunts, they say shit that they would never say to somebody's. I say anything on this show or on the internet that I'm not willing to say to somebody's face.
Yeah, no, we're real assholes. We're from to the time before the internet. We took our knocks.
And absolutely, that means yes. There's a good chance sometimes somebody would swing at me. But I also liked to fight when I was a kid.
Or consequently, you learn to keep your fucking mouth shut in certain situations. You didn't talk about religion or who you voted for. That's a big thing that's changed. But that used to be two big no-nos. You don't talk about politics or religion. That just leads to a fight.
Yep.
But now on the internet, everything is debate bro shit. Everything is lawyer shit. Truth doesn't matter. It's just who can make the more convincing argument. It doesn't have to be true. It just has to be convincing.
And, and it'll always be like that on the internet. I was talking to somebody. I do think like if this doctor went and debated RFK Jr. and he presented his facts and they're backed up and you can find, the studies and all this, then most people would be like, okay, yeah, RFK Jr. is wrong. Sure, there's still going to be some people who are like, no, I'll never believe differently. But you're going to get that in any fucking situation.
Yeah.
I had a debate with Hunter Avalon on here.
Did you?
Oh God, yeah.
I'd like to hear more.
He has this idea that we need to destigmatize pedophiles.
No.
And I saw that he made this video, and I did a stream about it one night, and he heard of it. He said he never watched it, lying bitch. And so he's like, we should talk about it. I'm like, sure, whatever. And one day me and Jack are discussing this, and he pops up in my chat like, come on. Now, he has these studies, of course, that he didn't read. So before we ever got into it, I read all the studies, and he was absolutely wrong about what they said. He only picked out little tiny parts that backed him up without reading the rest of it.
Yeah, he just skimmed it till he found something he liked.
And so we have this debate, and I asked the audience, I kicked his ass because he didn't know what he was talking about. But of course, his audience over there is like, no, he kicked your ass, because you're always going to have the sycophants. It's just how it is. But the vast majority of people will see, like, okay, that guy's an idiot.
Hey, Hunter. Hey, Hunter, here's my debate about pedophilia with you. Pedophilia is evil. Source? Yes. Can I get a source on that? If you need a source on that, you're fucked up.
Oh, here's this thing. Here's the thing. No, we don't destigmatize it all the way. You see, I don't know how you do that. But we just make it easier for them to go get therapy. They can do that now. Fucker.
Go get therapy now. We don't need to hear. Don't come on the internet advocating for man-boy love like that guy this morning. Just go to your fucking therapist and don't rape kids. Why would you even tell people that? But it's like we were talking about before. There's a network of these assholes because of the internet. There used to be the lone, I don't know, I need to go to therapy because I got this fucking problem guy, and he just kept it to himself and no one ever fucking knew, and he never hurt anybody. Good for him. But now that guy gets on the internet. He starts searching. He finds two more of those guys. They find two more. Then they find themselves in a Discord. And now they're getting positive reinforcement for their fucking sickness. Where back in the day, you just would have been a lone creep and that'd have been it. The crazy, terrible people can network in big numbers because of the internet. That's the bad side of it. The good side, good people can network too. But
If All
the
Potato
bad
says,
side is, oh God, these maps, they got to go up against the wall.
if All Potato says, you deleted the Hunter debate though. I'm pretty sure I did, but you can still watch it on his channel. You won't hear the rest of me and Jack talking afterwards, but you can. I know that little cocksucker still has it up.
I'm not a debate bro about those things. Like when it comes to like a lolicon, no, okay, yeah, okay, it's not illegal because it's drawings, but my case is, well, if you're into that shit, you're fucked up and you're probably about to offend. Well, if somebody sees animated violence like on your show, are they about to kill somebody? I don't know. Are they jerking off to it? Because if they're jerking off to it, there's a good chance, yes. They're giving themselves a dopamine rush, like a little hit of cocaine is positive reinforcement every time they see violence. They're probably going to commit violence. Watch out for that guy. The same thing goes for people jerking off to kids. Case closed. If I have to tell you why you're not supposed to have sexual relations with kids, then you're fucked up and you're not worth debating with. If I have to tell you why there's a social stigma for that and why we are evolutionarily wired to protect the nest. Here it is, Hunter. You're like a snake, or you're advocating for like the snakes that are creeping up the tree trying to get to the birds' eggs and scolding the birds for pecking the snake's eyes out for trying to get at their young.
Keldrick, thank you. When people went to debate Hunter, his channel, he would only do it if you joined his Discord server and he invited you onto the stream. If you tried to debate him in the comments, he'd ban you like the bitch that he is. Yeah, he came to me. I didn't go to him because fuck that guy. As Cybertaz, thank you so much. I've known about the whore of Babylon, but I just recently heard about the whore of Avalon.
Yeah,
that was some funny shit.
I'm not debating shit with you, Hunter. I can see your wife's booty hole on freecams.com, so I don't really feel like I have to debate you on anything. You're a cuck.
I didn't when do you remember Amos Yee and when everybody was debating that fucking retard?
Yeah, no, I was on the Kumite at the time, and he came on there, and there was no debate. I just called him a pedophile a bunch of times and told him that he needed to go jump off a bridge.
And you were right. There's a reason I didn't debate him because he was a fucking pedophile. He was actually advocating for pedophilia. The reason I was willing to engage Hunter though is because he is putting out some dangerous information. Fucking really dangerous information. Hey, if we destigmatize it a little bit, that'll make them go get help. No, it won't.
No. That's positive reinforcement for negative behavior, Hunter.
Exactly. And there's no reason to make that any nicer. And then he points to this German thing that was done and misses the fact that pedophilia actually went up in Germany. Don't pay any attention to that.
Hey, Hunter, I was just wondering if we could destigmatize beating your kids. Do you think we should destigmatize physically? I'm not even going to a sexual realm, just beating the shit out of children every time that they do something wrong.
Well, yeah, then you're more likely to go get help
Hunter,
for it.
They might go get help for their violence problem.
Thank you, Dark Resurrect, for that feminist $12. Let's not forget Hunter called Monkey subhuman and then berated, insulted the chat when he realized he lost. Well, this is a debate bro tactic. If you watch these debate bros enough, they'll always go, look at what your audience is saying. No, fucker, look at what I'm saying.
Yeah, I got some of that yesterday.
Did you?
Yeah. Well, not even my audience, man. He was like, well, what about Gilded Pooh, who sends people like the picture of that white girl getting fucked by a dog every time he wants to troll him? And I'm like, I don't even know that guy. The only time we ever crossed paths are because like we're talking about the Tyro thing. And that's it. I don't know this dude. That's the first thing people will go to when they can't get anything on you. They're like, well, some members of your audience. And all that does is make the members of the audience go, us? Now you've got 100 people on your ass, not just one person on your ass. That was the big mistake that guy made.
He was actually insulting the audience too. And Jack stopped the show. He's like, no, you're not doing that here. And Jack beat me by about 5 seconds because that little prick, you don't come on my show and insult my audience. Go fuck yourself.
Chat always wins, bitch. You better watch yourself, dude. Keep the insults coming at me. You don't want to go at the internet at large. They'll destroy you.
Why are you in a debate and looking at the audience in the first place?
Because he had nothing to say to you. He couldn't get over what you weren't going far enough and being too much of an extremist for him. So he had to go to the wood chipper people in the audience to yell at them.
Well, here's, and you'll probably disagree, but I am not sure that pedophilia deserves the death penalty. Locking him up for life, I'm okay with. That's about as far as I'll go. They do not deserve any kind of sympathies. Go get help. But the idea that you should be able to come out and go, I am a pedophile. No, fuck you. What the fuck is wrong with you? It's not going to cause any problem. Yes, it will. Do you know what destigmatized means? It means normalizing. That's literally what it fucking means.
Well, slippery slope fallacy, monkey.
It's not a fallacy if it's true.
Yeah, that's what I keep saying is, you're talking about slippery slope fallacy while we're going 80 degrees, 90 miles an hour downhill right now.
Yeah.
It's not a fallacy.
We saw this with the gay marriage debate, and I'm fine with gay people. They want to get married. I don't give a shit.
Gay marriage is fine, but the arguments that were made about gay marriage have morphed into the most terrible shit in the world.
I was born this way. Okay. That's what pedophiles are going to say now.
Mm-hmm.
And it's literally what they say.
For everything. If you were born that way, now you need to get special protections. You need to be a protected class. It's not your fault. I don't believe that about a lot of these people.
No. The argument for gay marriage should have been, we're grown-ass adults. It's none of your fucking business. Leave us alone.
Yeah, that's fine with me. Yeah, get married. I never give a fuck about that. I'm really not, and I don't, and it's going to make me sound shitty as somebody on the right, but I don't give a fuck about abortion either, man. It's not my, you can't, I know look, killing babies is bad, but you can't make me give a fuck about something I really don't give a fuck about. Like, I just don't care.
And if you don't, that's fair. It is one that gets me riled up just a lot because of the way
9 months in, it gets me riled up. But like the woman getting an abortion at like 12 weeks or something, I just couldn't give a fuck less, to be honest with you. It's not my problem. You be evil on your time.
S. Cybertaz, thank you. A good enough audience insults themselves and their peers. I am one of those troublesome ones. Yeah, it's if the audience is having fun with themselves, I don't give a shit. But no, don't come on my show and insult my audience. With the abortion thing, for me, it's the way they sell, like being proud of it, like getting shirts with I had an abortion and that fucking bitch from Fleetwood Mac. I could have never done this if I hadn't had an abortion. That sounds like a fucking sacrifice to the devil, you cunt.
That's like a veteran being like, I never could have got this house if I didn't kill those 30 people.
Yeah.
Okay, that may be true, but do you want to phrase that a different way?
That's not a selling point.
Yeah, you're not supposed to be proud of having to do that.
An abortion is something you should be, going back to the shame thing. It should be a shameful thing. You fucked up.
At best, it shouldn't be something you're proud of. It should be,
I go farther. I say shame. Dark Resurrect, thank you for another feminist $12. I say that if you have the urges towards pedophilia but haven't done anything, you don't deserve to die. You should be kept away from society at large and get help. If you do something to a child, however, I hear you.
If you have urges for pedophilia and you're not acting on them, I suggest you start jacking off to big-tittied older women on Pornhub until you change your fucking brain.
Yeah.
Best advice I can give you. You are in control of what you're turned on by. You can tell your brain not to be into something. These people don't want to tell their brain not to be into something. They get off on it. I'm sorry. Maybe I'm not wired all fucked up, so I can't sympathize with somebody who can't do that, I guess. But yeah, why don't you jack back that degeneracy? You like kids? All right, let's get you on college co-eds for the next 6 months. Then we'll work you up to MILFs. I promise you, within a year, you'll be cured of your little problem. But that sounds like it would work to the normal male brain, unless these people are just wired different. But I'm not concerned with why evil people are wired different. I'm concerned with getting them away from non-evil people.
Hold that thought. Jack, my friend, what's up?
Hey, fellas. How you doing?
Living the dream.
Good.
How you doing tonight?
Oh, I'm fine. Same old shit, different day.
Fair enough. AP, did you see that the story from that? Who was that? It was a judge who came out the other day and was like, "Oh no, that was in the hearing, right? where there's a judge who's about to be confirmed by the Senate for a higher judgeship. And this motherfucker once said that for the safety of society, we need to stop keeping pedophiles away from schools and playgrounds and anywhere kids are.
No, but I'd love to get that clip.
For the safety of society. I could probably find it to you and send it to you.
I don't understand what his argument is there. For the safety of society, we need to stop keeping people that have a predication to want to attack and abuse children away from children.
Yep.
I don't know where to go with
Can't
that.
make this shit up. And they want to make him a higher judge.
I saw one. No, go ahead.
They've infiltrated everything.
It's so messed up. I saw one. It was a city council person getting elected, and the woman on the city council said this person is a convicted child. I just have to say this: they're a convicted child sex offender, and this person actually grabbed me at a recent hearing. She got screamed at by this lesbian that everybody is included. Everybody's supposed to be represented here. I had it on late night. Oh God.
Yeah.
I think I saw that clip on your show.
Yeah, it was. Sometimes there's just no words where you're like, but I thought you were a liberal. I thought you were a feminist. This woman was just was grabbed by this guy, and you're like, well, grabby people are people too.
Yeah. And it's fucking retarded.
If you're a criminal, they don't give a fuck what you. Oh, you're included. But if you are a tax-paying, productive member of society who has tried to do everything right and has harmed nobody, you're a fucking fascist. You're not invited to the party. But the criminals, the pedophiles, the thieves, let's decriminalize theft in California. That's worked well with 50% of the businesses leaving downtown San Francisco.
Criminals and freeloaders are the saints that we need right now. They're the real heroes. You people that work a lot and have like normal sex, you're fucking degenerates. Kind of weirdos are.
Oh, I don't know how I live with the normal sex, man. I'm such a bad person.
Right?
AP, I'm sending you the link over on Twitter to that video. It's Ted Cruz talking about it, and at the end he has the clip.
Oh, good. That's going on late night tomorrow.
Yeah,
we're gonna take a look at that.
Fucking ridiculous. Yeah. He starts off by saying, I'm not sure that keeping them away is actually safe. And okay, you can make a fucking argument there, but then he goes on to say, for the safety, we need to stop doing that. Fuck you.
Does he explain what makes it the safety of who? The pedophiles? Society, but the society doesn't want to fuck kids. I hope.
Well, a lot of the pro pedo advocates seem to think that seduction of children is different than the rape of children, like the forcible rape.
I guess on the sliding scale of evil, they're right there next to each other, but the one who doesn't touch the child is a little. It's not. I don't want to say the word better, but marginally less evil.
It's like one speed of the wood chipper difference.
Yeah.
Hi Nets, how are you, sweetheart? I would say, look, if you have those urges and you don't touch kids, you're pretty fucked up. Once you touch kids, that's an evil I can't understand.
Yeah, it's over for you. It's over for you. I'll be willing to have this little debate and just shame you as a quote non-offender. I'll just shame the shit out of you. Anywhere I find you online advocating for that shit, I will do my best to make sure you are shamed the fuck off of there. Yeah. But I guess I can't. I guess if you haven't done anything, this isn't Minority Report here.
The only place this debate happens is between the cell and the wall. That's the only place this debate's allowed to happen. Because why would you normalize kids getting raped? I don't know. What society are you trying to build here?
Well, there's a certain element, and I've heard this online. I'm not a gay man, so I wouldn't know for sure, but I've heard in the gay community for many years, and this goes back to the 70s and 60s, it's not as big a taboo to bring in a teenager as it would be for the straight community, if you know what I mean.
Oh, yeah.
Being groomed in is a pretty common story, and it doesn't get reported because if the boy becomes gay, of course, it is a positive memory then for him. If, it's just part of that life.
Yeah.
So that's where that advocation started. That's where that normalization, the word we keep coming back to, started in that community. Now, I'm not saying if you're gay, no, but you that's not, I'm not saying every gay man does this, but
no, but it is amazing how many gay guys have a story of having sex with an adult when they were a teenager.
A lot, man. And it's either that or they were molested. And that makes me think that sometimes this lifestyle is a consequence of mental illness more. Now, hey, full disclosure, I knew 2 kids I went to school with from elementary school. They turned out to be gay. These kids always hung around the girls. They were skipping rope when we were playing football. I will say some humans are just born predicated to be more men that are just feminine and they want to hang around girls. And that may lead to that lifestyle because then they're just a girl. But no, there is a substantial portion of that community that makes that choice. Because let's be honest, a lot of people can't. It's more difficult to get with a member of the opposite sex than it is to just get on Grindr and be like, anyone want to come suck my dick? You get like 5 replies, right then. These are guys they're still men that you're talking to, they're okay.
We know that kids being molested will fuck them up for life. How many, real quick, Jack, you have several donations apparently. You want to grab those?
Yeah. Thank you, Retro V Gamer, who sent one while I was not here. He said, "Wake up, Jack. You're missing the show with AP." That sounds about normal these days.
You keep your OBS on so that rings and wakes you up.
Dare to dream. If only this happened all the time. And thank you, S. Cybertez. How about the safety and continued existence? Pedophiles need to stay away from children before a polite society takes care of the problem themselves. They need chipped and visibly marked if on the registry. I'm not opposed to pedophiles getting microchipped so we know where they are at all times because they're not humans, like communists and chiropractors. And thank you.
I want them to have a big chip right up the pee hole.
Yeah,
big sharp one.
Somewhere where they can't remove it and it's inconvenient and painful.
Shaped like a triangle, so you can still pee and everything, but it's really gonna hurt. It's gonna stick right in there.
Yeah,
that. And also, that's a great deterrent. Hey, man, if you get caught, we're putting this 2x2 chip inside your pee hole.
Ugh.
Yeah, see the sound you just made? That will keep motherfuckers from offending.
Yep,
I would hope so.
But that's another problem is we have a hyper, we have a society that's hyper monitored. So let's wind the clock back to like 1920, and somebody rapes somebody else's daughter in a small town. Well, that guy just is never found again.
Oh yeah.
And it's very clear you do not fuck around like that. These days, like what happened to Tyro. If you got parents with money, you just get put on 10-year probation and you live as a transient in a parking lot.
I maintain that we're probably going to get back to that at some point where vigilantes just start doing the job that the prosecutors won't bother to do.
I've warned the black community about that. Not in the way that maybe that comes off. They were saying that no more police. We hate the police. Stop the police. Defund the police. I'm like, do you understand the police? White people aren't going into black neighborhoods and robbing and kickdooring people and raping women. It's going the other way. And I understand for the purpose of theft, that makes sense. You ain't got shit. We do have shit. Poor people are going to rob richer people. Rich people don't kickdoor poor people to go steal their food stamps. But do you know what's going to happen if there was no cops? Vigilante mobs would just burn down your neighborhood. And the 99% of the good people in that neighborhood are going to suffer because of that one asshole.
Yep.
Gentlemen, I need to step away for just a second. Jackie, you got the show for a minute?
Yeah.
Thank you.
But yeah, you're not wrong. I've been saying for a while that you're going to see a resurgence of some organization like the Klan that takes place entirely offline and is networked through personal relationships and personal screening that starts dealing with pedos, probably some racial stuff, and these drag queens. You're going to see that because everybody is too accepting of this behavior and justifying it. And vigilantes have always formed when the cops don't do their jobs or the prosecutors don't do their jobs.
And I'm not threatening a community. I'm telling you, we don't want this to happen. You need to straighten up. This is an inevitability that will happen when the 5% start running over 95%. eventually the 95% are going to put an end to that shit.
Yeah, there's only so much people take of getting pushed around, and then they snap. I mean, look at that Killdozer guy. If that guy had been smarter and done it a little more covertly, and his engineering skills would have made him Batman.
He's still a hero, though, man.
I'm
still
not
a hero of the people.
Not arguing that at all, but
could have been better. It definitely could have been better.
Yeah, it's a matter of how people snap. Some people snap in the more visible, upfront way like that. Others do it in a more covert way. You get some special forces guy whose kid gets raped in a bathroom by a transgender person. You're gonna see some dead transgender people. He's gonna start sniping them from the bushes.
Yeah, you're gonna see some Bronson shit. You're gonna see some deathless shit go on. Yeah.
And even with like mildly competent skills, somebody could get away with that for years.
All it really takes to get away with something is, hey, there's a party over here with 30 people. He was here with us all night.
Yeah. A couple of sympathetic friends that figured out what he's up to. It doesn't take much. Dude can get away with it for a while.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's inevitable, and it'll come as a big shock to the stupid media. And the politicians will probably use it as an excuse to try and seize more guns. But you're looking at an unstoppable force because, like the Taliban, you can't stop everybody that wants to get even.
Well, the problem, the wall between the people and that right now is our comfort. We have things to do, and we've been pacified by 24-hour entertainment and sports and games and all that. Until people start in great numbers start losing their homes. I'll use the black community as an example. You know, the type of hatred black people have for cops. That's the type of hatred you have when somebody kills your brother, when somebody shoots your cousin or your brother.
Yeah,
that doesn't happen to us.
Well, so you're going to see that with illegal immigrants too. People losing their livelihoods to illegals that'll work for pennies on the dollar. A bunch of poor people start losing everything.
We started seeing that. Remember the Patriot Guard? Not the Patriot Guard, but the guys who would go down and guard the border on people's private land.
Oh yeah, the Patriot Watch?
Patriot Watch, some Patriot something. They also Patriot in there.
Yeah.
I wish people would stop throwing Patriot around. Patriot used to be a very virtuous word. Now it's
used to mean something.
Now it just means cringe, activist, LARPer. I don't like it.
Yeah, probably Fed.
It may have Fed who's waving an American flag. Yeah.
That's when they said that we were involved in all these white nationalist organizations, and every LGBTQ organization in Texas was too afraid to speak up against Los Tejas. I was like, first of all, even if we were predicated to be involved in some stupid bullshit like an organization, they're all fucking feds. None of us were internet people. We would never join anything.
Yeah, sounds like a lot of extra work.
Oh, but don't you hate the minorities and the trannies and everything? I'm like, not as much as we hate the feds, honestly. Like, we don't want to be involved with either one of you. I wanted to be left alone. I just want to play my video games and work on my lawn.
You want
leave me alone.
Right. Thank you, Frosted Glass. As my grandfather used to say for leftists, ideological consistency is as elusive as Robert Danby. That's true. Robert Denby is the Napoleon of crime, as we learned from Gemini Man. And thank you, Keldrick. We all need to be inspired by the patron saint of paternal responsibility, Gary Plausch. May he live forever in our hearts and minds, much like everybody's favorite subway shooter, Bernie Getz. No, Bernie Getz is probably my favorite example of a person driven too far. The guy's a pacifist weirdo, and he eventually shot 3 or 4 people in the subway because he got harassed all the time. And that's why they started putting cops in subways, because everybody realized if this guy's going to do it, there's going to be a lot more dead people because he's just some normal weirdo. Not a violent weirdo, just a regular, quiet dude.
When they put the cops in the subway, then we have incidents where some guy pulls a knife and the cop runs into the engineer's compartment and won't come out because he might get hurt while people are getting stabbed in the news. You remember that?
Yeah, that was fucking ridiculous.
Oh God. So many times I've seen these guys. I'm not trying to go in on everybody. The cops, everybody sucks. But I mean, in this instance, the cop did suck. It was very Uvalde-ish, where it was like, hey, our lives are really important. I'm like, well, you signed up for this thing kind of like a soldier, where it's like, most of the time you're pretty safe, but when the shit goes down, your life might be in danger. That's part of joining the force. You were supposed to be answering a higher calling, not just taking a job.
Well, a lot of that is due to the lack of standards and poor screening for
You
what
can,
we have.
you can be too smart to be a cop.
I hear you, but I also think that part of it is that they've raised a lot of men to be pussies. Just being honest with you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Society.
AP, did you get the video of the woman cop who ran herself over?
It sounds familiar. Is it new?
Yeah, he played that
It's
one.
new. Okay.
Yeah, she did put her car in park while she was holding a guy at gunpoint. There was
yeah. That was my lady cop segment. I think that was probably a couple weeks ago, I think.
Pussy ass men cops and female cops. We're all screwed. I'm just gonna be honest with you.
Did you guys see the new national park video?
Which one?
The Pride one?
No.
Oh, here we go.
I think it's a national park.
They've infested everything with this nonsense. Like the weirdest possible people are running everything. They're not just stealing luggage while burying nuclear waste anymore. No, they've infiltrated everything.
How are there this many? I thought there were 3% of the pod. Half these people aren't gay. Half these never had sex. Like the girls excluded. All women are bisexual to some extent, and I get it.
Yeah,
women smell good. You're pretty.
They're soft.
I get it. You're soft. I understand why you want to sleep together, but half the men aren't gay. They've never been in a same sex thing.
These are not gay people. These are weirdos attaching themselves to the gay community.
Well, speaking of weirdos, let's do this, shall we? Sorry, my internet's cutting in and out real bad again, guys. So if it cuts out, I apologize. We'll get there.
Oh, I can see its bulge.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. This is the guy from the North Face ad.
That's what I was going to ask. That North Face ad? Okay.
Yeah.
Hello. In case you didn't know, gay people are literally taking over the national park system.
They're turning the bears gay.
You already took over truck stops. I mean, this is a natural progression. Rest areas. Yeah, okay. I can see this being true. That's fine.
Old Faithful's going to go off and condoms are going to go everywhere.
It's going to moan.
I just hope they're Pride in Yosemite for the 3rd year in a row. But this isn't a Pride for visitors to the valley. This is a Pride for the park employees, of which, as you can see, there are literal hundreds of queer Yosemite employees
who were coerced to be a part of this, or else they would be exiled. This happened to my girlfriend. She had to go to Pride. She said no to the people at her work. She didn't really want to go. She tried to make up an excuse, and it became an issue, and it was just peer pressure. She ended up at Pride.
Yeah, this is how everybody at Yosemite is going to get monkeypox.
No shit. They make it say, "Oh, they're all gay." No, they're not. No, they're not. They're just people who are doing it.
It makes them feel. It makes there is a part of white women, and I don't know why. And some white men that were just raised by women, I guess. But it seems to be our problem, where accepting weird, terrible shit makes them feel like a good person. The weirder the thing that they can accept and be like, "This is great."
Well,
the better person they feel like.
Yeah.
Here's another theory of mine. The problem isn't the queer community or even this idiot that we're watching. The problem is people who are like, I mean, they're not really hurting anybody, so I don't see why they can't. Yeah, those are the people that are causing the problem.
There are a lot of them that aren't hurting anybody. There are plenty of married gay men who don't get involved in this shit. They're not activists. They go to their jobs as male nurses and radiologists and come home and butt fuck. And that, hey, God bless you. And then there's this, where you're actively, they say, we're just trying to exist while they're demanding access to your children, to your girls' rooms, locker rooms. You're not just existing. Existing would just mean neutral. You're trying to change everything. And we're not trying to fix what ain't broke. You have the same rights as everybody else. You weren't being bothered or persecuted until you started going after kids. And that's natural because we're programmed to do anything to protect our kids. I would take a bullet for my kid. If my kid drowned in a car, and I had to watch it, I would go down to the bottom and go with her.
Yep.
Yeah, but these are infiltrators. These are people that disguise themselves. They're sort of the wolves in sheep's clothing. They infiltrate a community and destroy it by creating new demands. And they've been incredibly successful because they can blend in with different groups. And we've seen it in every aspect of society now.
Oh, yeah.
They use these like pseudo commie tactics to get in and change things for their own degenerate benefit. But real quick, thank you, Keldrig. A white woman came up with this so she could eat some bison, if you catch my drift. It's possible.
In chat, Eagle says, speaking of monkeypox, there was a commercial on my local TV saying anybody can get it, Jack. Anybody could get it, but not everybody's getting it because it comes from butt fucking, tearing the anus wall there and ejaculating in it.
Yeah, anybody could get it at a bathhouse. Don't hang out at bathhouses; you'll be fine, and don't get raped.
There's a reason AIDS spread in the gay community. The easiest way to spread it is with tearing, and in normal vaginal sex, there's not much tearing. In oral sex, there's very little tearing. In anal sex, I don't care how nice you're being, there's going to be rips.
It's the mucous membranes in the anus.
Yep.
That's what makes it 14 times. That right there makes it 14 times more likely for you to contract HIV. That's just a scientific fact, man. I don't know what to tell gay people about that. That's why I say, like, hey, man, if somebody turns out gay as an adult, that's their business. But I'm not going to tell my child it's totally okay for you to involve yourself in a lifestyle with a guaranteed higher risk of sexually transmitted disease, mental illness, suicide, and earlier death, not to mention domestic abuse.
Yep.
I'm not going to want my kid to sign up for that. I'm sorry.
Audience, what's the biggest group that commits domestic violence?
Cops. And then lesbians.
Lesbians.
Yeah. Sorry, but yeah, technically cops. But then but a lot of lesbians kind of become cops. I think Monkey's internet might have gone out again.
Yeah, he has that problem, unfortunately. Did you see the North Face ad?
Yes.
Okay,
yes, I did.
good.
It was disgusting.
I was like, that gave me nightmares, man. That's some weird shit.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. Like, why? What happened to the world where you could put Frankenfurter from Rocky Horror Picture Show as the face of your brand?
Yeah, like,
and it would
somehow make it creepier.
Yeah, this isn't just a regular gay person. Like, hey, it's Pride Month. I happen to be a gay guy, and I'd like to tell you to come on down to Joe Thomas Chevrolet and come check out our cars.
Yeah.
We got a great selection of cars. And for Pride Month, if you walk in with your husband or your wife and you're same sex or whatever, hey, how about this? 10% off. 10% off. I wouldn't even get mad at that. I'd be like, hey, that's good sales tactics, you know?
It's like a President's Day sale, but with Richard Grinnell as your spokesman. I'd be fine.
But now
with
they've got the cover of Hole's Live Through This album staring at you through your TV, like, come buy a Chevy. No, not anymore.
Yeah, my parents always taught me to stay away from weirdos.
Yeah.
Now they're embraced.
We used to teach kids to stay away from weirdos. It was taught in schools.
It's not good to be weird. It's not good to be. It's okay to be, like nerdy weird, smart weird. That's cool. But it's not good to be sexually degenerate weird. And if you grow up to be sexually degenerate weird, that's your business. But that shouldn't be the goal. We shouldn't be picking them out at 5 and going, okay, I want you to be a sexually degenerate weird person. That's totally okay. You're a girl now. No, you're not.
It's so bizarre to me.
And then they put them on puberty. You know why they advocate for puberty blockers? Because it keeps you from developing into the sex you're supposed to be.
Well, yeah, they like them young.
Yeah, it keeps them young. All right, let's watch the rest of these idiots real fast.
We danced, we marched, we celebrated, and we got wet.
We got wet. Oh, I have problems with. Oh, that's nasty.
Can we not? Can we not? I was just going to take my family camping. I feel like Hank Hill. This was a problem with hippies 20 years ago. Remember the King of the Hill episode where Hank went camping and it was just hippie fest?
Yeah.
Yeah, now it's a whole different deal, man. I'd love to see the reboot of that episode.
Oh, they would never make it because it'd be too mean. Instead, Hank Hill will be like, identify as a small Laotian man instead, and his daughter will be a lesbian, and Bobby, well, he'd still be retarded, so.
I don't know, man. Bobby probably turned into a drama kid. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I was a drama kid.
And look what happened.
Not one of those drama kids. When you were in drama, you knew one of those drama kids, though, didn't you?
Oh, of course I did. Yeah. I was in drama. One, I actually like acting, and two, that's where the girls were.
Drama 1 was cool, but when I took drama 2, it immediately became an elective that I really wanted to change.
Oh, I had fun in drama. It was like a class 1 that, like I said, I do enjoy performing, but compared to having to do math, yeah.
Oh, it was a blow-off class. I mean,
Yeah,
you just
absolutely.
sat there and you read lines and learned how to speak.
And a lot of the girls in drama are whores, guys. I'm just telling you. They are dirty little whores. Anyway, let's finish this retarded shit.
So proud of all the community organizers within the park system who are making safe space for queer people all year round. No planet, no pride. Mother Nature is a lesbian. Goodbye.
Please, why does everything, you have to take everything? It's just all got to be you. It's got every cartoon, every movie, everything's got to be you. You're so obnoxious. Stop.
They're narcissists that must be in control. Power hungry people that they know they're weird. They know that what they're doing is normally outside of the bounds of acceptable society throughout all of history. So they have to gain power in order to force people to accept their can I say child rape agenda?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that. I'm sticking with it because there's no way that anybody's rational sees that leader that we just saw, that weird nightmare Boy Scout leader from Silent Hill, and thinks that person is the type of person that I want around my children. Rational people don't do that. They're like, look, that person looks too much like a circus clown. They're scary. They eat people, and I don't want my kid near them. There's something very uncanny valley about seeing somebody that is so gender bent and has all sorts of makeup on. It gives you kind of like this mental thing that, hey, maybe I shouldn't be around this person. There's just no way that rational society puts up with this shit. Instead, now it's being forced on us. And the fact that the National Park Service did this and none of these people went missing shocks me, honestly. There's an entire series of people that make videos out there on missing 411 and how hikers go missing in national parks. Yeah, all these people are fine. So the freaks are running everything.
Well, nobody wants to take them.
Yeah, that's fair.
As Cybertaz, thank you so much. When did Sergeant Slaughter have a trans daughter? Did you notice that one clip in there where she's standing with the actual females, and he's like 1.5 feet taller?
Yeah.
Yes.
That's the difference between men and women, guys.
Yeah, and the mustache. I mean, look, if you're actually trans and have gender dysphoria, you're not going to have a fucking handlebar mustache like Hulk Hogan in 1982.
You're also not going to have a giant bulge that you are clearly trying to show.
Yeah, that was bothering me, where I'm like, you're highlighting your dick, man. Like, there's a difference between, like, okay, even if there was just a park ranger that, okay, let's a gender dysphoric person, one making a big deal about it, dude, I could tolerate that. But these people are by nature attention seekers.
Yes,
and that is part of the problem. When you get attention seekers and you start glorifying bad behavior in a community of attention seekers, you're going to places that can get very disastrous.
Yeah, nothing of that is going on with this is healthy for society. It's a civilization in collapse warning sign. Sorry, I'm really tired. And it's not going to end well, because normally what happens is either the peasants revolt or another force comes in and crushes them, which I keep waiting on.
This is how you get real fascism, man. You get people so frustrated that they are willing to, anyone who can bring order, fine. Total authoritarianism. As long as it's my type of authoritarianism, put that dude in power. I don't care. That's how they got Hitler, man.
Yeah,
they're all worried about Nazis. Have they studied how you got guys like Hitler?
Yeah, Hitler, Mussolini.
We're in hyperinflation.
We used to have people like, okay, just leave the kids alone. And we're actually seeing a movement to just ban all gender transition. This is how you get that kind of shit.
Yeah, you're going to see pushback.
Yeah. Real quick, Frosty Glass, thank you. The three spirits visiting Scrooge made him like Christmas again, but I guarantee if they visited him every night of his life, he'd hate Christmas more than he already did. That's what the left approach is with LGBT. The job was done. Now move on. Fair.
That is a great analogy.
Very good analogy.
But the problem with a lot of groups like the feminist movement, gay rights, and communist revolutions,
I gotta grab a drink. I'll be right back.
Yeah,
is that it can't end. That's how
No.
they continue to rake in their money. Nobody wants to just say, "Well, job's done. Time to put up our shoes and get back to work on real tasks." No, because there's too much money to be made. They've built their entire careers on the struggle. And that's what they know. They refuse to accept that they're finished. They always want more. That's why we see these nitpicky things. You saw this with like Al Sharpton and Jesse Jackson. How many times have they come out over some trivia bullshit that's not even racial? And they're just out there grifting because that's the hustle they know. They don't know how to do anything else.
Yesterday, we saw the story of the bitch who's whining about attached garages.
Yeah. Yeah. What the? You are reaching at that point. Like, let it go. Let it go.
Mike says reasonable men are being pushed beyond their limits. True.
Yeah. Give it time. You didn't see nothing yet. I'd say give it a couple more years. And when enough people have had somebody important to them's lives destroyed, whether it's their own or one of their family members or the best friend or whatever, lives completely destroyed. Government comes in with their jackboots. That's when shit's going to hit the fan. And it's going to be fucking messy.
Or if there's any collapse of the security, and I hate to say it like that. Well, I'll say middle class America. If there's a collapse of middle class America and we are not pacified by always, they were talking about your internet's going to be browned out. You're going to have to deal with electrical brownouts. When that starts happening, y'all are in trouble. Because as soon as all this cushy shit goes away for a generation that has never lived without internet, never gone, through a hurricane where they've had 33 days without power, something like that, you're going to find people get really militant.
When civilization stops, people stop being civilized.
Yeah, we are 72 hours away from fighting over grains of rice at any given time.
Yeah, and we should have seen the foreshadowing of this when the toilet paper crisis hit. When everybody went out and panic bought toilet paper, that should have been your warning sign that people will freak out.
We did say that, and they laughed at us.
Yeah.
That's totally normal. This is just what happens. Oh, it's just a toilet. There's no toilet paper shortage. It's just we make more toilet paper than we can ever sell. And like, where's it all?
We talked about hurricanes earlier. You live in a hurricane. What happens every time there's a hurricane coming?
Oh, people freak out. They panic buy, and then after the hurricane, there's price gouging. There's always looting during a hurricane for poor neighborhoods is a holiday. Yeah, because the power's going out. There's no surveillance cameras, and they bust the windows out of every store.
Yeah, and
worth robbing.
In riots like that, looting is a great time to go out and get revenge on an enemy.
Oh, sure.
Because then you can seize the opportunity, and it looks like they're a victim of whatever crimes are going on in the public. I kind of expected more of that in Portland when they were having all the riots. That it'd be a good time if I were a psychopath or a vigilante and I wanted to go out and kill some Antifa. You put on a black hoodie and mask and go out and cap a few of them in the back of the head. Nobody's ever going to be able to identify you.
The issue there, though, is that those riots were still done, and the area still pretty cushy. The kids who were doing it were all upper middle class.
But once it starts breaking down just a little bit,
oh no, I hear you.
It's gonna get brutal. Fast. Oh, sorry.
I was gonna say the media. Once the media is kind of nullified. Like right now, what's the difference between a rooftop Korean and a rooftop white person in a riot? The rooftop white person is a white nationalist. The rooftop Korean is just protecting his property.
Yeah, and eventually it won't matter. Those words have meant so little for the last few years that eventually somebody will just be like, fuck it, I don't care.
Yep.
And then it's game on. It's going to get ugly. And the media will probably be in line for the targets too.
Oh, we've seen what happens when you target people in power. When January 6th, when they had to deal, when senators had to deal with the type of bullshit and threats, not even a threat, people taking selfies that for the last 4 years we had been dealing with in our hometown. We had in Portland, they had City Hall taken over. They had an entire police station that was ransacked by Antifa and BLM rioters and things like that. That wasn't insurrection. But when for just a couple hours, people came into your sacred hall to take selfies, you were terrified.
Yeah.
That's what we'd been living with for years because of
government,
that BLM peaceful protest glorifying bullshit. I'm sorry. I know you had donation to read.
Thank you, Cybertest. Owen Benjamin named Yogi, Boo Boo, and other bears to stay away from this park rapist or ranger. Yeah, I would too. Yeah, the wildlife's in trouble because
Yogi, the ranger gave me a glass of grape juice, and then I woke up 3 hours later on my stomach, and my tushy hurts.
Right. Cenk Uygur was like, "So what?
So what?"
No, I really think that the January 6th thing showed how desperate they are to avoid an actual so-called insurrection because they made this minor pseudo riot into such an overblown affair. That's how terrified they are that people will actually rise up.
Yeah.
Well, just look at the way they've reacted. I mean, just the notion of these people coming, they surrounded the place with barricades. They're all locked down up there in DC now. You can't even get very close to the White House. You know, the shit you guys pay for.
Oh, yeah. They love it when shit like that happens, though, man. Remember 9/11?
Oh,
remember how easy it was to fly before 9/11? Your family and friends could walk to the terminal with you, keep you company, meet you right there getting off the plane. It was cool. Not anymore.
Not anymore.
And now it's like a military when you go through. Have you ever been yelled at the airport by Homeland Security? Get in line. You're telling people how to stay in line, screaming at you. I'm not in the military. I didn't sign up for that shit. I bought my ticket. You better show me some customer service.
Control, man. Everything is about control. And this is why I keep telling you people about the language. There's a reason that they changed the language. It's to control. That's why you're not allowed to question the LGBT shit or the environmental shit or the vaccine shit. You're not allowed to question anything. Because if you do, they might not have answers.
Well, they also kind of touched on something during COVID, and it was suggested, and I think they were more serious than it was coming off, that this type of paranoia is a mental illness if you don't want to take a vaccine.
Yeah. Well,
my belief is that, Reagan took asylums away, and somebody's going to bring them back. And it's not necessarily going to be the crazies going in the asylum. It's going to be the people that don't want to get vaccines, for instance. They just get a couple of psychiatrists to sign off that some manner of paranoid delusion. They can stick you in there. They can 302 you, put you in there until you conform. You want to get out, you're going to take this shot.
Yeah, it'll be a re-education camp, or a gulag, whichever. Real quick though, thank you, Circus Zero. As Marvin Hermeyer, Killdozer, said, sometimes reasonable men have to do unreasonable things. Well, they're only unreasonable by societal standards. They're not always morally unreasonable. Just saying.
People are willing to take the consequences for their actions when they have nothing else. We have too much.
You got nothing left to lose.
When they take your house, hyperinflation, overtaxation, the breaking of the middle class. When we lose our internet and our cable and our homes, that's when shit's going to pop off. And people are going to stop giving a fuck what you call them. And things are going to get ugly. So, and I don't want it to be there. I'm not trying to advocate for, because, I like all my nice cushy shit. So could we please pull this? Could we pull up on the stick a little bit, please? We're nosediving. Just pull up on the stick a little bit. I know America's going to crash, but could we just try to aim it at a street? Could we try to land on the strip like Con Air? Do we have to go 90 degrees into the ground? Yeah, level it off.
Yeah. No.
Yeah, we don't need to go head first into that mountain. Just saying.
But thank you. Love your stream. Thanks, AP, for joining. Yeah, we've been trying to have me and AP to get together for a long, long time. I'm glad he was able to join tonight.
Yeah, man. Wow, we've been sitting here for like 3 hours, huh?
2:18.
Wow.
But there's power in this bullshit that's going on. Whether it's the environmental shit, like, you guys, you can't use this stuff anymore. In California, you have to have the brownouts, because otherwise the environment, it's all about control. And the more of this nonsense that they push out there, the more they can control. It really is that simple. I mean, there's Have you ever seen in your lifetime politicians grab onto something as fast as you saw them grab on to the trans bullshit?
No, and I've never seen politicians they didn't take sides like this. They weren't partisan like this back in the day. You were
No.
expected that even if you hated half the country, they were half of your countrymen. You had to serve them. You served
Yeah.
all Americans. But and I think that, I hate to say it started with Obama, but I think it really did start with Obama, where it was just like, well, fuck them. Fuck the other side. They're assholes. Even George Bush didn't act like that.
No, but it started under Bush, but it was people who hated Bush.
You know what? Yeah, I do remember the "Not My President" crowd started.
Not
under
my president.
G.W. Bush.
Anybody but Bush. Remember that stupid shit?
Yeah.
And then Obama gets into office, and immediately you're not allowed to question. See, this is the first time you really see it. You're not allowed to question anything he does, because if you do, you're racist.
Yep.
And even if it was something, I mean, the whole the medical bullshit with the insurance, Hillary Clinton tried that same thing, and she got destroyed for it. They hid that bitch for 7 years because she got so destroyed for that. Obama tries it and people question, like, oh, you're racist.
Or you hate poor people. You just hate poor people.
Yeah, but see, at the beginning, they were at least honest about it. That Obamacare was never for the poor people. It was for the middle class who decided not to get. It was mostly for young people who didn't get insurance.
Well, that too, they were trying. That's the Democrats have a very they try to market to the demographics that don't vote to try to get those extra votes. So like they're really into the Black community, the Latino community, and the young people, because these are the people that typically don't fucking go out and vote in giant droves. And if you get the Latino community at this, like in Texas, you're winning.
Oh, sure.
Period. And it's getting that way in America too. Still Mexican guy would like to ask if you'd like to join our white Latino Mexican gang. I actually have a Mexican gang called Los Tejas that is an international child exploitation ring. Would you like to join us? We're also apparently white nationalists, though we're Mexican.
Well,
I'm not really sure how any of it works.
A white nationalist so many times. I feel like I'm an honorary member. So yeah.
All right, welcome to Los Tejas. Now, my Nazi organization does have many Black people, Mexicans, and Jews in it. We're a very inclusive white nationalist organization. I think that having Jewish leadership will actually give us an edge. I've seen those people do some wonderful things with large organizations before. They always work their way to the top no matter what. When the feds get there, we're going to have Jews to meet them. They're going to negotiate this thing out. We're going to be the most successful white nationalist organization ever. Plus, with the building and production power of the Latino community, we'll have our own fucking cities soon.
Look, dude, I still say that America is as strong and powerful as it is because we are the melting pot, and we brought in the smartest of all of the groups.
We used to.
Yeah.
And then that 3-generation rule started kicking in, where like strong men build shit, their kids take advantage of it, and then the 3rd generation just destroys it. And that's where we're at right now. We have the greatest generation, the boomers, and now the wealth of the greatest generation is dying off. It's all made its way up into the hands of the few super elites, and we're so fucked. And if you haven't learned to live poor,
you might want to try it.
Yeah, if you didn't grow up poor and you just are young and were spoiled your whole life and given everything, and you don't know how to sit outside and drink with your friends and not have electronics surrounding you all the time, you're so fucked.
Watch the clouds go by. Yeah. You ever cloud watch? I used to watch the cloud.
Yeah, just picking out what clouds look like. That's what bored people used to do.
Yeah. They used to read and make friends and do stuff, play cards together, hang out.
We used to have episodes of sitcoms on television about turning off the television. There was an entire episode of Give Me a Break I just watched, because those are on YouTube, and apparently the algorithm wants me to watch Nell Carter, about turning off the television for just one night and talking to your fucking family.
I had the biggest crush on Sam on that show.
Yeah, Sam was kind of 80s hot, for sure.
She had that kind of nerdy thing going on.
Yeah, and then she put her brother in blackface.
Yeah.
That was a funny episode. He goes in front of that Joey Lawrence. You guys got to picture it if you haven't seen this before, audience. Joey Lawrence goes in front of a black church. He'd been practicing I can't remember the name of the The guy who used to do all the minstrel shows and shit, but they didn't know
Al
he was going to
Jolson.
paint. Yeah, Al Jolson, Jolson, and he was just going to do a song, but Sam got mad at Nell, so she put Joey in blackface, and so he pops up in front of this black church, and you see this scene in blackface doing a minstrel show singing Al Jolson. It was the funniest shit you ever saw.
Can't do that today.
Even though the point of the episode was don't do blackface and make fun of black people. That's not a nice thing to do. Apparently,
because Nell gets in her ass about it.
Oh, yeah. I never thought that my daughter would be somebody who would say the word. And then she says the word.
She says the word. Yep.
Yeah. And Sam's like, but I didn't say that. She's like, oh, yes, you did. When you put your brother in that blackface, you said that to every member of that church. And I'm like, damn, wow. And I never did blackface. So, lesson learned.
Yeah, and this is not a case of him dressing up like Black Panther. No, it's actual blackface.
Yeah, black paint on his face, wearing a little tuxedo.
Yeah,
it was a minstrel show in front of a black gospel church, and a very well played looks on the faces of the congregation too.
Frosted says, I don't know this show. Look it up. It's Give Me a Break. Just look up Give Me a Break blackface and you'll find the scene.
Yeah, you'll never forget it either.
Gentlemen,
I'll drop the link.
Thank you. It's 5 o'clock in the morning. We're 2.5 hours. I still want to do a game stream today, so I'm going to wrap this one up.
That sounds good. I need to go to bed. Well, it's been great talking to you guys tonight, man.
Yeah. Don't leave just yet. Guys, thanks for watching. Thank you so very much for the donations. Really, really do appreciate it. Now, AP, anything you want to show?
Yeah, tonight on the Adonis Paul channel and on the Adonis Paul channel on Rumble as well, we'll be doing Late Night with Adonis Paul at 11 p.m. Central Time, 12 p.m. Eastern. So if you guys want to watch some videos, make fun of stuff going on in the world, stuff like that, maybe we'll kill Pablo, bring your wallets, and for $2, you can murder my assistant.
Tailfin says, more AP Monkey collabs, please. It's a timing thing because most of the time we're on at the same time. So
yeah.
When we can, I'm always happy to hang out with AP. By the way, guys, if you are not subscribed to the Adonis Paul channel, go do so. One of the funniest motherfuckers on the internet, and I'll put you in the top 3 easily.
Well, thanks. Wow, yeah. I don't know about that, but I appreciate the compliment.
Look, I consider myself very funny, and I am jealous of how funny you are. That's how funny I believe you to be.
That's a very nice thing to say. Thank you.
Jack, anything you want to show?
Not today. I haven't done anything.
That is the worst shill ever.
Go subscribe to AP. All my links are in the description. All these guys know that. Go subscribe to all AP's channels so you can find them.
Guys,
I'll give them money on losttejas.com.
Indeed. Losttejas.com. I will be over on twitch.tv/rantingmonkey playing some 7 Days to Die here in just a little bit. AP, Jack, a pleasure, gentlemen.
Yeah, same here. Thanks for having me, man.
Everybody, have a wonderful night, and we'll see y'all next time.
Bye, everybody.
This is the song at the end of the show. How come my internet never goes out when I'm singing this horrible crap?